I don't want to be right.
What would Socrates say to that?
It tickles my fancy.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
They don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay, Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still till it's all with the show, and till then it's half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm a lie about a motor. No proof. I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him, and if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what? What is a star? Like another city, the driver's side fly. Wish I could large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. Hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever, and cute as can be. You can watch us on YouTube with view for free. Hey, this one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time, wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Morning, everybody. That's what we like to call a fashion barn beatdown, Leroy.
Yes, it was.
That was an absolute thorough ass kicking in game 3. Florida Panthers win this series or win this game 6-1 and go up in the series 2-1. 2-1.
And it wasn't that close.
Wow. I mean, like, you know, it's bad when the Panthers are actively like feeling like they're tickled when you're trying to fight them, just laughing in your face. Jonah Gadjevich, Nico Mikkola, and the Oilers have to resort to the street stuff like squirting water bottles. Absolute thuggery.
Thuggery.
Childish is what that was.
It was childish. It was childish, and like I you know, we're having a water gun fight in a game where you're just getting absolutely throttled. It was unbelievable.
Well, that's what the Panthers do. The Panthers get in your head, get you to play outside of your element, and it takes a level of poise, right? You're in the finals. So the fact that you're letting another team affect you the way that they are, you ain't ready for the moment. You ain't ready.
No, I mean, like, it went way over where I think anybody could have even realized. Like, they completely lost their minds.
Yep.
I mean, you had a crazy first period where there's just penalties willy-nilly left and right. Just felt like, you know, the Oilers, starting with Evander Kane, just couldn't get out of their own way with all the mistakes they were making. And then eventually you knew it was going to get to a point where they were going to break through. It felt very much like after the Marchand got the early goal and he just kept getting power play after power play with some really good looks, there was going to be one that broke through. And once you got that 2-goal lead, I don't know, man. We got to that second period and the Oilers just completely lost their marbles.
I was waiting for, like, if they get it to within 1, then it becomes, you know, a pressure cooker a little bit. But yeah, man, they like, what are you doing? Like, they're trying, and there's 2 types of teams, right? There's a team that's doing whatever they can to win the championship. And there's teams that are out there not thinking of the big picture, but just beating the Florida Panthers. And I say that in that they were trying to return the aggression of the Panthers instead of trying to score goals and play and win the game. And you could just tell, like, they were way out of their element.
Well, it was just even like just dumb stuff, like them trying to light up Sergei Bobrovsky, and like, you know, Bob gets taken clean off his feet, and you're sitting here being like, all right, well, very obvious penalty. And then, like, you know, 2 seconds later, you got Skinner who's flopping like a fish trying to get it because Kachuk was near him. And I'm like, everything you're doing is just so patently obvious.
Right. They're not trying to win the game. They're trying to beat the Panthers, right? And being that they're going out, they're trying to be more physical than the Panthers. They're trying to do the same stuff that the Panthers do. They're trying to disrupt Sergei Bobrovsky. They're trying to all these things. And the more you try to beat the Panthers and play the style of game that they play, the farther you get away from playing the game that got you to this point. And so the Panthers are winning twofold, because not only are they beating you on the scoreboard, but they beating you at a game that you're not familiar with.
Stun Steve's calling him Bobrovsky flop. I don't know, man. He got clean tape. Like Skinner definitely flopped.
I mean, when your skates are pointing at the sky, like that's kind of hard to reenact.
Skinner was definitely there. Like he's like, oh, Tkachuk's around me. He wanted out of that game. He wanted no piece of it. Like, please get me out of here.
Have you ever seen a game? Somebody just pointed this out. Have you ever seen a game with more broken sticks?
I don't know.
I mean, holy smokes.
I don't know. I know they were whining a lot about the ice because that's become the latest thing we like to do. Is
Well,
the national
somebody
media
said-
like, the ice is no good.
I was watching ESPN before the game earlier in the day, and they said that Edmonton plays a very fast game, but the ice is slower in the Kaseya Center. I mean, not the Kaseya Center, but Ameren Bank.
It's funny how
Because
Marchand
either the
gets
moisture or
that
whatever. No, they said it on air, and I was like, huh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how the Panthers didn't look that slow.
Yeah, well,
It's interesting how like it always, it's always like Canada just realized, oh yeah, there's games in the South.
well, again, it wasn't them. I heard it from somebody.
Yeah, but them is put under the umbrella of just the rest of the horse bleep with like the state tax and all of that stuff. It's just like, oh, the ice is no good here. Oh, it's like now, okay, we're doing that now.
Well,
That's where we're gonna
There's
go.
always something. They're trying to. They're stretching.
It's always something. It's
well,
always
that's-
something. with
You
them.
know what? And the way I feel about it is, I don't care. Take the L.
Yeah, but they don't take the L. Like that's
I
it's a
don't.
nice thing, it's a
Again,
nice thing to say, but that it's literally the opposite of just taking the L. It's taking the L with caveats.
again, as a team, as a person that roots for the team that's up 2-1, I don't care what your excuses are. And Johnny said it perfectly. Bennett looked pretty fast on that break.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, we can't go as fast here. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. What is Connor McDavid, a Gila monster? Like he just he just can't adjust to the climate. Like, what's the problem?
Listen, at this point, I don't care. I'm just looking at it as 2 more wins, and thank God, because I'm gonna need a break from the jacuzzi.
You got 2 days off. Stop whining.
Hey, no, like, I know how Edmonton feels, because you guys got me all messed up. Do I get out? Can I get in the pool? Can I? What if I just keep a hand in? What like, come on.
Yeah, I think we've told you, as long as you're there, it's fine. You could just go feet in or something, just be around it, but don't leave.
Oh no, I didn't leave. Now, in fairness, I left with like 10 minutes left. Because at that point,
I'll allow it. Like the game was
at that point, I'm beating traffic. Yeah, right. Like you beat
I
the
get
traffic.
it. But I also have told you, like, you don't have to do jacuzzi every day. Like, you just have to be where you're at.
No,
you have to stay there.
Technically,
No, you
if
like
they win, you have to do the same routine.
it would be nice, but the thing is, really, you
No,
just
you're not.
change your
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. You
All right,
know, if they lose, you gonna ask if I got in the
You
jacuzzi.
would give him hell.
I know
Yes.
what I gave him hell for, Jennifer, because this is why people don't listen. What I gave him hell for is he left. He started his game there. He even broke routine because he said that he was liking the mojo of the tub, and then he left with them up. And that's the problem. Like, if he leaves, if they're tied, if they're down, then fine. I don't have a problem with that. Or just don't go in the jacuzzi all day. But he's pot committed. So, I mean, I didn't make you go this extreme.
But wait, I've always done that. I do that with the Heat sometimes.
No.
I do. I get in the jacuzzi when they play at night.
You didn't do it because you told us stop pulling a big face coffee here and changing the details. Okay.
What?
You said that you stayed for an extra period because they were playing well, and then you got out and you quit when they were up.
No,
And it
I
cost
didn't
them a
quit.
game.
My body quit. I was dehydrating.
You quit.
Oh my goodness. So now, last night, I was seeing spots. I couldn't even see the TV. I had to listen because I couldn't see that far because I was so, like, I almost
Yesterday,
seized
I have
up.
to say that we had a bunch of 2 overtimes.
Wham. Two
The two
more wins.
overtimes.
2 more
Yeah.
wins. Stop whining about it, dude.
I'm not. Bluebeard and jacuzzi all Dolphin season.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral Volkswagen, choose from over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock with the T1 Taos and Alice. Remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. Final score last night, 6-1. Brad Marchand, Carter Verhage. Carter! The Sam scored. Aaron Ekblad and Evan Rodriguez all lighting the lamp. Bob had 32 saves. Game 4 will be Thursday. A couple days off for the Cats and Oilers. We'll take a break. Back with more after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2. The big 3 in their most anticipated season yet will take center court in Miami at the Kaseya Center on June 29th. Get your tickets now at KaseyaCenter.com. Coach of the Miami 305, Michael Cooper, Hall of Famer. He's going to stop by the show today. So we will talk to one of the key pieces of Showtime. Of course, coach is now Michael Beasley, Mario Chalmers.
Hey, could you imagine being that regimented with the organization, the coaches you had to play for, and now you coach Michael Beasley?
I think he probably loves it. I don't know. We'll talk to him about that.
It's just like you look at players and that become coaches, and you kind of get an idea of how they're going to go about their job based on the coaches that they played for and the circumstances, the situations they played for.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say that they didn't have a Michael Beasley on their team, right? They didn't have a guy that if he played for the Bulls, I would say, okay, maybe, because you had Dennis Rodman, right? Just a guy who was just, he did his job, but getting him there was some work. But they didn't have that at Showtime, right?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a little before my time. I was a baby. So
yeah, no.
It's a little...
I mean, you had Kareem, Magic, you had Coop, you had Byron Scott, you had like all these guys seem like they were all like, look, a lot of them became coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine all those guys playing together.
He just got his jersey retired this year after going in the Hall of Fame. Pat Riley and the rest of the Showtime Lakers there for him. So he'll stop by the show today. We'll talk some hoops with him. Of course, buzzing last night. The Panthers win. Jonah Gadjevich is a crazy person. Like, he's sitting there. He's wagging the tongue out there.
He was a whole meme yesterday. And
he really was. Like, he was like, did he just go nanny boo-boo while he was walking into the locker room? He's like just mocking them for how tough it is.
Is it not crazy that we say this about a different Panther every game?
Well, it's exciting for him because he didn't get to really play last year. He was practice the entire way.
Right.
Now he's out here in that fourth line. They get Greer back yesterday, but no, like, he's an absolute menace. Well, we've heard, some of the calls that Doug Plagens has had of his. But do you have the call last night, Brittany? Did you get Doug Plagens in the Gadjevich fight? Because that's probably his favorite guy on the team to call. Because Gadjevich yesterday is just thumping, and you got blood squirting out, and it's just it was absolutely awesome, and you could just see he's like smiling, sticking the tongue out because he's a pure maniac. I mean, this is the guy who takes the scissors and clips his nails in the penalty box.
Oh my god!
They had to shove like 4 Panthers in the penalty box after just all hell broke loose. Game was over. Oilers trying to get their money's worth. It was crazy yesterday. They're like going after Sam Bennett.
Of course they are. They always seem to go after the guy who hangs out in front of the net.
And then they went after Mikola. And he was just laughing in their faces.
Nico Mikola just laughed in their face.
It.
He was like, he points at Corey Perry. Old man. He's just like, he probably just wanted to give him some warm milk. Be like, hey, old man, why don't you go take a nap? Laughing at him. And then there was the jarring going on. You see, like, they were like, with the whole squirting thing, but then just the jawing back and forth. And Brian Boucher's like, what's going down there, Bouche? He goes, nothing good.
He was upset. He was wetting all his equipment.
That's understandable. I would freak out.
I would be
pissed if you squirt, if you had a water bottle and you're just messing with my stuff.
It's pretty amazing because all I can think of is they did more fighting after the whistle than they did during the whistle.
Yeah. Here was the call of Doug Plagens just saying on the big melee.
Ekholm, and then from Frederick, who just gave Bennett another shot from behind, another cross-check. Frederick's going off. He broke his stick on Sam Bennett. In comes Jonah Gadjevich, and he's swinging for the fences, and in comes A.J. Greer as well. And Greer grabs a hold of an Oiler, and we've got a good old-fashioned Donnybrook now. 9:31 left in the third. Greer swinging away at an Oiler right in front of the bench.
Darnell Nurse wants nothing to do with Greer. He's just trying to hold him up as much as he can. He's not even trying to throw a punch.
Gadjevich.
We got bodies everywhere.
Yeah, Gadjevich and Nurse. We've got Frederick and Bennett. That was the initial altercation. Nurse trying to throw something at Gadjevich. And now
Nurse just wants out of this.
Kulikov has hold of somebody. Connor Brown and Nate Schmidt. And now it's Nurse trying to throw a couple of rights at Gadjevich. And Jonah has him held back here. He gets a left in there and a big right hand from Gadjevich.
If Gadjevich gets his hands free here.
Look out if Darnell Nurse isn't able to escape this one. Gadjevich has him held back. There's the right hand. And Jonah Gadjevich is swinging for the fences. Nurse trying to fight him off. A couple of body shots from Darnell Nurse, and there's another one right to the mandible. And now over to the far side of the ice, we've got Nate Schmidt and Connor Brown. They're locked together. Gadjevich and Nurse still swinging away. Oh, my goodness. Jonah Gadjevich continuing to land shots up high on Darnell Nurse, who's holding on for dear life at this point.
And the linesman involved in other
Greer and Frederick have been sent off to the penalty boxes. And our linesman in the middle of it. And everybody is separated. A standing ovation for Jonah Gadjevich.
And a Gadjevich, just a big smile at the Edmonton bench.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Oh, he just landed another one.
I was in
the mandible.
The minute that he used the term Donnybrook, I was like, oh, wow.
What the hell is that?
Donnybrook, a scene of uproar and disorder, a heated argument.
That wasn't what that was.
It was a Donnybrook, dude.
That was a melee.
It is. It is.
I also love the fact when he uses mandible. That's always my favorite. Oh, right to the mandible. That's how it felt though. Like Nurse was sitting there. He goes, "How do I get out of this? This was a terrible mistake."
And it was almost like Gadjevich was holding him up and saying, "You're taking this beating like a man."
That's right. You made your choice. You made your choice. Then they started kicking everybody out left and right. Game was over. I mean, it was a pure throttling yesterday.
So they had basically the starting five all in the box for both teams.
Yeah, they basically threw the whole lines in there. And then they just gave misconducts left and right. And then it didn't end. Like there was still more. I mean, you had 9 minutes left after that.
I know. That's the crazy part.
You had
once that happened, that's when I got out.
You had three Oilers. Three
that.
Oilers just went after Matthew Tkachuk after that. You had Evander Kane hitting Verhaeghe right in the chops with his stick. He got kicked out of the game. I think he had like 16 minutes of penalty minutes yesterday because of that. He was terrible, Evander Kane.
Yep.
He was sitting there like that dude completely. And then like afterwards, he's whining. He's like, the refs aren't seeing what they're doing. Punting. It's like, well, don't get caught. I don't know what to tell. Like, you're very easily caught. Every time I'm like, hey, look at Evander Kane getting caught. Pretty wild. But it was a time. Man, what an ass kicking it was yesterday.
But the other thing is I'm always like in these series said, but it's just one game. But it seemed like the Panthers sucked the life out of Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
Both physically, emotionally. Like, you couldn't keep your cool during the course of that game when you were in it. Then when you got out of it and you were out of it, then it was just like you weren't out there to play hockey. I always wonder how teams bounce back from that.
Well, I don't know how you do it, but Sam Bennett, that hit that he laid and then just the work that he had on that breakaway.
Oh, my God. He took out two guys,
Yep.
then ended up leading the breakaway. I'm like, now that's being all over the ice.
He's got to be like, he's had to skyrocket up the Conn Smythe odds, I'd imagine.
He's the favorite.
Is he the favorite right now?
And McDavid is the second.
Yeah, that's good. Because we went into this. McDavid was the favorite with Bob second, but Sam Bennett's been a monster.
It's amazing that you don't realize how deep the Panthers are because when you think of, so let's use Edmonton. If Draisaitl and Connor McDavid don't have big nights, multi-point nights, Edmonton usually doesn't have a chance. But if Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe don't score, you still got 3 or 4 other guys who can go in and score a couple of goals, and you're like, who?
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. But I think also the idea that you do want to get that top line going. You know what a challenge that they have defensively to face, but Rhino getting on the board last night, that was a huge one for him. And then like you could see he started feeling it as the game. But Sam Bennett, like he's just in the freaking zone right now. Yeah, he is just under plus 200 favorite.
Marchand's third.
Marchand's third at plus 400. McDavid's plus 240 because they have to. And then Bob is 5-1.
I would say, I mean, Sam Bennett has been on fire, but has there been anybody more important than Marchand in the series?
I think they're pretty even.
Pretty even.
They've both been so damn good. And I think if you were to like stretch, I mean, Marchand looks. The thing with Marchand that he looks like he's been getting better as the playoffs go on.
Yep.
Bennett's just been the dude basically through the whole thing. So if you're doing it like that, and I think the thing that's unfortunate about Bob, like Bob had a very good game yesterday. It's just the game was so out of whack. You just don't really remember because there was so many shenanigans, but he had some really great saves yesterday.
Yeah. How big was I mean, that had to be like the most penalty minutes I've seen in a hockey game.
Oh, it was crazy. I don't know what the totals are.
It seemed like somebody was always on the power play or 4-on-4.
Pretty wild. We'll take a break here on the show. Back with more for this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. And very excited in studio now joining us here, the head coach of Miami 305, Michael Cooper, stopping by the show, Leroy. Very exciting as the Big Three gets going real soon. They're going to start their season this weekend, and the Miami 305 is practicing down at Leroy. They're gearing up for the season. And Coach Michael Cooper, kind enough to join us here. Thanks for the time, Mike. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Toby. Hey, Leroy, you know what? He really didn't know who I was when I walked in.
Really?
He thought I was another old man. Like
ridiculous.
No, sir.
Ridiculous claim.
Hey, it's crazy because we had a conversation before. Here's what the conversation was. I know when you were Showtime, y'all had accountability. Y'all had leaders on that team. Y'all had a Hall of Fame coach. All these things going, and now you coach Michael Beasley. Is from what you've been through, how do you deal with the younger basketball players of the day? Because it was different back then. You didn't have, coaches having to appease the players. You didn't have, coaches said you get in or you out. So how do you handle that?
Leroy, the best part for me is I have kids, so I understand. Kids. But no, I mean, you just have to treat these guys with respect, and I think as you give, you get. And with our team, Mario Chalmers, Reggie Evans, Sean Williams, picked up Lance in our draft, and Michael B. Just give them the respect. And the one thing that we do is a give and take thing. We work things out together as a team, but it's fun. Mike is a little. The good thing about it is I don't have any hair, so he can't make me pull my hair out. So we just we work it out. We make it happen. And but you know what? He is a fantastic player.
He's so talented.
Oh my God, he is so good. And it's just amazing that he's just being in the NBA. But you know what? He's not. He's in the Big Three of Miami 305, and we're glad to have him.
Was there any truth to there being a rift between him and Lance? Because they had the one-on-one matchup. Was that to help with their build-up? Are they good at the practices so far?
So, but they've been great. I mean, I got here one day late, but yesterday I got here and they seem like they're great. They understand what we're about. We're going to win a championship and we got to play together as a team. But I'm pretty sure there was a rift. I think that would be like if me and Larry Bird or me and Magic did a one-on-one and then we had to come play together. You just put all that aside and play.
With a duo like him and Chalmers too, like they've been together for so long, they know each other for so long. Like, how does that help with the chemistry of a team going into a season?
Oh, for sure, that works so well. And Mario's the starting point guard for us, and he knows and he understands that Mike is our go-to guy. So again, we run a lot of pick and roll. We'll throw it to Mike and let him go one-on-one because he is a matchup nightmare for anybody. And this week coming up in Chicago, starting June 14th, we get to see Dwight Howard and LA Riot, and he's just gonna do what he do, play basketball, and they work it out.
The competition level still very like as far as like the competitive juices for you guys still flows like very, very high for a league like this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you know why it's even high? Because you didn't know the end to run to, Leroy. They can't run down to the other end. Everything happens at one end of the floor. And yeah, the competition is very high. And it kind of goes through the coaches too. We got some marquee coaches, myself, Dr. J, George Gervin, Gary Payton, and when we see each other, and Nick Young, let's see him, and we kind of talked a little bit of sugar, honey, iced tea to each other, and we get it going that way.
Well, if you guys want to come watch the Big Three live and in person, it's going to be at the Kaseya Center June 29th. So they'll be at the Heat's house June 29th. Get your tickets now at kaseyacenter.com and come support your own Miami squad. Michael Cooper joining us here in studio. Just had your jersey retired. Pat Riley there, all of Showtime there. What was that moment like for you?
Almost tearful. I never expected that. The Hall of Fame came before that, and I kind of figured might a little chance of getting in there, but the criteria for the Lakers hanging your jersey up was kind of really strict, and you had to have been an all-star. And with Jeannie Buss, our owner, doing what her dad has always done, being very home-loving, family-like. So when they called and told me that they were going to do that, that was something. I'm getting emotional about it now because I think about it. But yeah, it was a great moment. A lot of my teammates were there. It was fun.
Is there something? Go ahead, Leroy.
So you can tell our age difference because my question's all about Showtime because I grew up watching that, and that was some of the most amazing basketball I've ever seen in my life. And one of the things that was amazing to me was you guys all there was no knuckleheads. And so I would ask you, who on your team was the Dennis Rodman? The guy you needed to win, but you had to keep an eye on him.
We really didn't have that. As you
Right.
said, we didn't, you know, when you came on the Lakers and we went through training camp, we knew who was going to have that opportunity to make the team. And if you're a knucklehead, we were going to exclude you and you would get cut before we even got into the thick of things, because it's about team. Team means together, everyone achieves more. And so we really didn't have that. But there was, it probably would be me. I was a loose screw at times. But I understood my role as a sixth man, so I wasn't going to play out of that. But that was a great question. We really didn't have that. We were very fortunate.
Right.
And you know what? But a lot of that credit goes to Jerry West, the late Jerry West. Jerry had an innate ability, that eye to find that one player or that person that could come in and help us, a la Michael Thompson in '85. He saw him. And then in drafting and going after Kobe Bryant as a young player, knowing that he was going to be the type of player he became.
Right.
I mean, you play for Pat Riley. Would Pat Riley ever dare say that Bam Adebayo passed Michael Cooper defensively as far as best players he's had in his franchise? Because you're one of the best defenders of all time.
I already see the look.
Bam, I can see the look in your face. This is already offending you. Bam's obviously looked upon as one of the best ever doing in a Heat uniform. Would he ever broach that topic even with you?
Tobin, don't start nothing. Won't be nothing, man.
He said, "This is blasphemous."
Well, you know what? Bam is a different player than I was. He's big, and for I think for Coach Riley to compare us to is an honor to both of us. And because Pat's been around and seen a lot of great players, but Bam more of that 5'4", can play some 3, and he can get out and guard some 1s, but not for a long period of time. As well as me, I could play 1, 2, and 3, but I wouldn't have a hard time trying to guard Bam or Kareem or somebody like that. But you know what? The one big I used to love to guard, and I really didn't care if I was outmatched, was a guy named Bill Laimbeer.
Just because the dirtiness.
The dirtiness. I love beating him up. And Rick Mahorn. They came in a pair. Yeah. You know what? Oh, my God. See, Rick Mahorn was one of the coaches in our league, too. So, Leroy, you see that competitive juice is still flowing. Yeah. Big 3, that's when I get to work it out. You know, I can't get on the court, but I can still have that passion and love for the game.
But see, Mike, I was at Michigan when the Detroit Pistons were going, you know, with Dumars and all.
I don't care. Bad boys, you know what? We beat them in '87. We spanked them. No, '88. We spanked them. They weren't the bad boys to us. We called them bad kids, and I tell that to their face too. Isaiah, Rick Mo. Okay, I'll calm down. Hey, you know what? Jay Figs. I just made her laugh.
Keep going.
Jay Figs is like a cool street baller's name. Jay Figs over there.
So, Mike, let me ask you.
All right, go make you jump over there.
So you played basketball on a team that was a different level. Y'all didn't have to work through a lot of stuff because everybody was on the same page. Do you find that NBA basketball now, there's too many moving parts to get to that level? Like everybody has almost their own agenda, and you have to incorporate that into the team atmosphere more now than you did before?
Well, you know what? And I don't mean anything wrong when I say this. It was kind of bad to watch the NBA basketball like 5 years ago, but I stuck through it, and they've come around a lot. But what you're talking about is why you see OKC and Indiana as championship playing for a championship, because it's about the team. And I think the NBA has been, there's so much money going around. There's really no loyalty because these guys are jumping from team to team to team or chasing the money. And that gets lost. Winning a championship gets lost because it's about the gratification of me at the moment. But that's why I love watching the NBA the last 2 years, especially this year, because you got two young teams. It's not about the superstars, and they SGA and Halliburton are stars, but they're not superstars. They're going into superstars, but they're playing as a team, and that's why it's enjoyable to watch for me. And that's what the Big Three is about. Miami 305. You know what? We're knocking on the door. Leroy, do you know anything about us from last year? We were knocking at the door, and we ended up losing to Gary Payton and that fake team he had back there. About this year, Miami 305, and we're going for it this year. And it starts out this Saturday coming up against Chicago. In Chicago, we're playing the LA Riot, and it's going to be a riot.
Important to you to get off to a fast start this season? Like, you feel like the elements are there for you guys to have that chemistry right off the bat?
Oh, for sure. With condensed the teams, we were 12 teams last year. We're back down to 8. So it's important. You can't go 0-2, 0-3 because virtually you'll be out of the playoffs by then. So, Tobin, it's going to be important, very important for us to start off with a bang.
How much confidence is Mario Chalmers still walking around with? He was known as the most confident Heat player. Even
Why
on
are you laughing, Leroy?
Even on a team with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, nobody had the confidence of Mario Chalmers.
Mike, you know the guys that they came into the locker room and they had all the confidence in the world, and everybody else like Magic and Kareem and all of them would give them a little side eye and just kind of smile.
You're talking about me, man.
Oh, you can't. You said it with your chest.
And I, Rio, get together. We love each other because we're that person walking around. But no, we still got a lot of. I'm 69 years old. I still believe I can get out there and stop LeBron James. Now, LeBron James would run over me like a freight train or something like that. But you know what? Show me. That's what it got to do, right? Jay Figgs, you got to show us what's going on.
Is there any surprise from you that Pat Riley's still doing it? 80 years old he turned this year. Still has that fire to run an organization. He said that 80 is the new 60. He has no illusions of retiring anytime soon. Does this surprise you at all as a guy who's been around for so long?
No, it's because that's who Coach Riley is. He's always been a fighter. And if you kind of look at our careers, Coach Riley and I were like the same player when he was with the Lakers. In the 70s, it won that championship team. So it doesn't surprise me. He keeps going. And you know what? In reality, Tobin, this kind of keeps us young, being around the young players, staying in the game. And those are some of the things you miss when you retire, that camaraderie, the preparation, those kind of things in the locker room, the bus ride. That's what makes it fun.
Hey, Spo went from 40 to 65 coaching Michael Beasley. So good luck.
Listen, these almost took me to a championship. Leroy, you know what? Had we won last year, which was what we're going to do this year, Miami 305 going to win it this year, I will have covered the gauntlet of NBA championships. I won a NBA championship. I've won a WNBA championship. I won a championship in the D League, which is now the G League. Right. Anything that has to do with NBA players, I've won. And so I'm knocking on the door for this one.
There you go. Get it.
Chicago. At 305 Miami. You gonna be there, Tobin?
In Chicago? Yeah. No, but I'm gonna come to the Miami show.
Why won't you travel with us?
What do you mean, dude? Like, what do you like? I'm not gonna get on the bus to go to Chicago this weekend.
Do this bus?
I could do it. No, that's fair.
They fly. They only got like 12 guys, 12 people. It ain't the whole team.
But we talk about Beasley's talent. Like I watched that one-on-one this week, and like he has the appreciation even still from like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, just what he can do on a basketball court. Like, what do you think is underappreciated from Michael Beasley as a player?
It's his true talent, how really, really good he is. I don't think a lot of people see that. And again, and I'm just beating Mike the last 3 or 4 years being around him, so I understand a little bit more. But just how amazing of a player he is, how easy he makes the game. You know, the guy's hands are so big. I didn't realize that. Michael Beasley has some big paws on him, which allowed him to do things with the ball that other players can't.
Well, good luck against Dwight Howard this week, Michael Cooper. Thanks so much for stopping by.
I'm not playing against Dwight Howard.
No, I understand, but you're game playing against him.
He acts like I'm playing, man. I'm not about to get out there, but okay, our team will do well. Thank you, Tobin. I appreciate
you. Go check out the Big Three Miami 305s coming to the Kaseya Center on June 29th. Get your tickets now at KaseyaCenter.com. Michael Cooper, thanks for the time. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to give y'all a lot of eargasm out there because you know what? They have to have it to get to the game when we come here to Miami.
We're all about it. We'll support you all the way, man.
You sure, Tobin?
Absolutely. If it's a Miami team, I got you all the way.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I expect to see you there, Leroy. 2 ball people have to come together, man. We're going to be there.
I wanted here, but it wasn't in my cards.
What do you think about his blue goatee, by the way?
Huh?
What do you think about Leroy's got a little blue there on the goatee? What do you think of that?
What you tripping? Leroy, stop it. Come on back down to earth, man, and stay with that gray. What's the blue for?
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for that.
He got basically pranked by his wife. His wife hair just kind of did a drive-by on the dye, and he turned it into a Smurf beard. I don't know what's going on.
I love that. You know what? During COVID, my wife did mine all yellow. My beard, I grew a beard then. She dyed it yellow, Laker colors.
Yeah, but you could stay at home. It was COVID. I got to go out in these streets with this.
Well, you don't have to. You can cut it now.
No, but see, it's coming. Look, the gray is coming in. So I figure that I got about another week or so, and then my gray will be back, where if I cut it off, I got to wait longer.
Leroy, stop playing with yourself. You look crazy with a blue beard. Thank you guys for having me, Tobin.
Thanks for coming in, Mike. Appreciate you. We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. Back after this.
305.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tagovailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of
Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Let's get the headlines. Brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral Volkswagen, choose over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock with the Tiguan, Taos, and Atlas. And remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. Panthers beat the Oilers yesterday, 6-1. Really got to stop putting DJ Khaled out to pump up games.
Another one.
They just got to stop doing it. I love the, listen, love DJ Khaled. That's not his thing. I don't need him there pumping up hockey games. He seemed very uncomfortable. We all seem very uncomfortable. Now, that being said, Bam Adebayo, rock that drum. Great job by him. And UD went with him for his birthday.
And support.
It's pretty goosies right there, dude. Pretty goosies right there from Bam Adebayo and Udonis Haslem. Getting it done for a Game 3 beatdown. Well done by them. Series will resume on Thursday at 8 o'clock at Amerant Bank Arena. Miami Dolphins, they start mini camp today. Mike McDaniel has met with the media. He said that Zach Sealer will participate in the mini camp. No Jonnu Smith, no surprise on no Jalen Ramsey, but that's where we're at with everybody. Some other guys not reporting mini camp. You got Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati, TJ Watt in Pittsburgh not participating in mini camp.
It's unfortunate that these are guys that, if not for their production on those teams, would be a lot worse. And then they start getting players to turn around on the other side of the ball and don't want to pay the guys that kept you in it when you didn't have an offense or your offense was struggling, right? So they're going to have the guy who didn't he lead the league in sacks last year? Trey,
yeah, Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks. He's
right.
17 and a half the last 2 years.
Right. And that's the guy you're choosing to quibble over. And that's what bothers me in sports, that is happening again with the Dolphins, that the guys you need to pay, you can't pay because you paid the guys in previous years that now you have questions about. Right. So is that in itself an issue for this franchise? Is not necessarily the players you have, but the players that you're choosing to pay aren't the guys who are making the biggest impact.
No, it's definitely something they got to consider for sure. We'll say, I was seeing these photos yesterday. They had, I guess, their media day yesterday where they take all the videos and stuff for the season. Cheetah looking slim, man. He's looking slim.
How,
slim? I'm just telling you.
What, $185?
No, I don't think he's been there. I think he's been in the 190s, he said. Now he's down in the low 180s. He looks slim.
Yeah. Well, that's probably because football is a escape to all the other stuff he got going on.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just was like, he looks very svelte.
Well, we'll see. I do think the success of Tua, the success of Cheetah, the success of Waddle, and whoever the hell they have at tight end, all of their success is going to be determined by how committed Mike McDaniel is to the run And I mean productive runs, not just to toss it outside and let the fast guys run. But I think they need to start running the ball in between the tackles. The mentality needs to be there. You got to have a mentality to go straight ahead because those guys ain't dodging you. And when that changes, you'll see an instant amount of success in other areas of the offense. And I believe that. If they continue to do the same runs that they've been doing the last 2 years and end up in 2nd and 13 and 2nd and 12 and stuff like that, you're going to have some of the same problems you had the year before, the last 2 years. So I'm interested to see how they remedy the situation of, I don't want to call a football player soft, right? So I'm not saying that they're soft, but the mentality in which they call plays makes them appear soft.
Like, why did DJ Khaled get out there yesterday? And when he shouted, "We the best," he didn't just let it stand on its own. You could tell that he was nervous because he's like, "We the best." And I mean that.
Didn't he say another one?
Yeah.
Well, that's his ultimate safety net trapeze move is to go another one. But
did the fans go crazy, or did they just like?
I don't think they were bad. I think they were fine. They're just like, all right.
I think they were just hyped for the game to start.
Yeah, you could have put anybody out there, but he was just like, you could tell he was nervous because usually "We the best" just stands on its own, and he just couldn't let it. Like, he just, and I mean that. Like, I just always assume that DJ Khaled, when he says "We the best," he means it. Goes without saying.
Maybe it
but
didn't sound sincere.
I don't think it did sound sincere. We could all see his note cards. He was very nervous.
He had notes?
Oh, he had notes.
How you had these notes for "We the best" and another one?
They were gonna make him like announce the players.
It sounded very out of place. Even Doug on the call, because I worked the game last night, was kind of like, "Oh," and DJ Khaled stops by. Like, it was just very awkward, out of place.
Do you think? Like, I was wondering this yesterday. Like, does he get paid for that, or is he doing that to get Stanley Cup tickets?
I have to imagine.
No, I think they put him in a suite when you do stuff like that.
Is that the payment? Is the payment you're in a suite?
Well, they ask you. Well, they got me crazy. So one time they said, "Hey, you want to come up to the game?" I was like, "Yeah." So I'm in the box, and they go, "Hey, we want you to come down, over to the, like, they have, everybody has like the little catbird area, like in football."
Yeah.
So I'm walking up there, and I'm thinking I'm just going to show support for somebody else who go pop the crowd, right? As we get through the elevator, they give me a jersey, and I'm like, wait. I'm doing this? So they kind of caught me off guard. Naturally, I have the gift of gab.
You do.
And so I was able to pull it off. But
it's like when the Marlins, hoodwinked me into an entire day of working in-game entertainment.
Oh, my goodness. We thought you were just going, wait. Brittany, this was the funniest crap ever. So we all go to the game. We're all sitting in our normal, area. And then Tobin goes, "I got to go. They want me to, do some stuff, down on the field or whatever." Right? Then mysteriously, Tobin's like shooting cannons, and he's like a part of the cheer team for the whole game.
Yep.
You're like, wow, he got duped.
Didn't even get to watch the game. I was just like moving from station to station.
You were an honorary mermaid?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they're like, "Hey, you got your costume at the end?"
Yeah. They wanted him to go out of the macho model. He was told
whole day.
You can see it in his face. You can see it. He was a good trooper, but you could see it in his face like, I got duped.
There was no compensation?
No, there's no compensation. The compensation was I got to agitate Mets fans. That was it.
Well, you
It was hilarious.
I had a great time, but I was like, man, you guys really he had me going.
And here's the crazy part was, it was like he was all over the place. Like, where's Tobin? There he is, over there. Now he's over there. Look, now he's on top of the dugout.
Screen.
They're like, we want you to taste our new Gigante sub. And I was like, all right. So like I'm doing taste tests in the middle of the outfield.
Right. And they're like, he's on the jumbo screen doing all this stuff.
Crazy.
That's hysterical.
Take a break here on the show. Back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. Leroy, can we get a weather update from the Demesman and Dover Law Firm? Your accidentattorneys.com. Free consultations 24/7. Call them at 866-954-MORE.
All right. It's a scorcher out there, folks. It is partly cloudy. Breeze is at 10 to 15 miles an hour. I can't tell which way it's going because I got sun over here with no clouds moving. But I'm going to guess it's coming the same way it was yesterday, and that's what, out of the southeast, southeast, at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And I'm going to say it's right around 90 degrees.
Wow. It was like torrential downpour like first hour here.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well,
just dumped on it down here.
Really?
Not like the Pats dumped it on the Oilers last night.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was great. You like those sad Vikings on the postgame show? Sad Oilers. Did somebody throw a real rat on the ice? There was blood on the ice last night. Did some sicko bring in a real rat?
Or maybe it was the 27 fights that happened during the course of the third period.
Oh, dude, I think a real rat got thrown on the ice last night. I'm telling you.
So some dumb person packed a rat to throw after the game?
Yep.
That's kind of disgusting.
A rat could hit the ice hard enough and just splatter like that?
I think it could easily.
I mean, the rat had to be dead.
I'm seeing we have a real rat on the ice. Who's the dum-dum who threw a real rat on the ice? A real rat was thrown last night, and you could see the blood streak there.
What's wrong with folks?
Look.
See the blood stain?
Yeah, told you.
Billy Lindsay was like, "Is that a slushie?"
Well, there was at one point because of throwing. I definitely saw some sodas get thrown onto the ice.
So classless.
According to the Sun Sentinel, it says it was not a real rat. It appears that a fake rat was thrown with ketchup.
Yeah, like, I mean, listen, why don't you guys use your big brain? Who's going to pack a rat?
Imagine the smell.
Oh,
right.
My God. Dead rat smell.
That just sounds awful.
You have to go through great lengths to do that's no.
I mean, people have been committed to less.
I know.
I'm just trying to see like if there's any more details on this. But it definitely it got chaotic. I mean, there was some blood in the Gadjevich fight for sure.
I mean, a lot of it was on his face.
Yeah. He was just a menace. Pure. Let's see.
Smiling through the rip.
It says the Panthers, Beth's from Miami Herald. As the Panthers basked briefly in the fan love, the Oilers tromped to the locker room. A plastic rat hit the ice in the defensive zone nearest Edmonton, skid across the ice. A bright red trail described its route to the boards. From most seats from the press box, it looked like somebody slashed open an actual rat and hurled it on the ice. Imagine they're cutting the rat there too. But a still from Sportsnet showed it was a broken bottle of ketchup hitched to the plastic rat. Now, why would somebody do that?
That's commitment.
So somebody
First of all, hey, dumbasses at going to hockey games. That's why it's people like you the reason why they take my cap from my water.
That's true.
I can't stand that.
This is the dumbest thing in the world.
Oh my.
Or you buy a soda and they dump it in a cup with no top. Come on.
How do you get a glass bottle through security? Because I can assure you there's not glass.
It was
ketchup
a glass
bottles.
bottle, or do you think someone just got
I mean, if it was a plastic bottle, it wouldn't have broken.
You could sneak. I mean, you could probably, if you had a hoodie, sneak a glass bottle in. I would assume, right? That doesn't get picked up.
No.
Well, maybe the metal top.
Somebody went in with like a rubber band, put it around the rat, and then they got from the concession stand, they got ketchup, left it open. When they threw it, obviously with the pressure of hitting the ice, it splattered a little.
See, that would make more
It
sense.
says on the
First of
still.
all, you sound like you're too familiar with this. You broke it down like, yeah, I did it game 3
I mean,
last year.
it's not that hard. And no, I wish. Okay, I'm not saying I wish it was me, but I would love to be in the building. But
It says a still from
I'm not.
Sportsnet broadcast showed to be a broken bottle of ketchup hitched to the plastic wrap. Why would somebody do that? The same reason someone from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach County metro area might throw a dead bloody chicken on the ice to mess with McDavid. This included a no call on supernatural forces. However, puckheads know the Oilers captain doesn't like ketchup. He uses the words such as fear and phobia to describe his aversion during an interview with Pete.
To ketchup?
A fear of ketchup?
He doesn't like ketchup.
So that's why the ketchup was thrown. So it wasn't even about blood.
It looked like blood, though.
Yeah, from
kind of like that lady that's scared of Cheetos or something. Is it not the Mari show? It was the other one.
Dr. Phil?
Afraid of Cheetos.
Cheetos or mayonnaise, I can't remember. And then he brought it out.
Well, now somebody's going to try and bring a real rat on the ice, aren't they? Like, that's going to be the next thing.
And it's
There's
going to be
some
your
psycho
fault.
Why?
Because you brought it up like it was real.
There's 100 stories on it online. It's not my fault. What do you want me to put a disclaimer? Hey, for anybody listening,
Does Leroy not remember Nashville fans used to throw actual catfish?
I don't think
But
used
then the Red Wings throw actual squid.
Catfish and then the squid and stuff like that. I feel like that's still a little bit more sanitary than.
I believe the catfish is a. I believe the catfish is a pregame tradition. They throw the catfish on the ice before.
Here's the other thing. Like, first of all, dead seafood sitting in your whatever.
You never seen the commercial of the
Dead
guy.
vermin?
You never seen the commercial during the playoffs of the guy who wraps the catfish around his belly.
Yes, I've seen how they smuggle them in.
Yeah, so he smuggles it in, but that's a pregame tradition.
Hey, but how about this, Jennifer?
What?
You fancy a guy, he takes you to a hockey game, and before the game starts, he lifts up his shirt and pulls a catfish off of his waist.
No way, because I would smell it before.
But that's what I'm saying. That's got like.
Then I'll be like, "What are you doing? I will leave right now."
I mean, if he's a good fan and he throws the catfish on the ice, I mean, that's a deal breaker for you.
Not a deal breaker. I'm just
It's like who wants to hug a guy wrapped in catfish?
I'm not. No.
Preds for life, dude.
Oh, and that's why I said it takes a different level of person to do
All right,
that.
well, that's fine, but Nashville J Fig may like catfish boy.
So let me ask you a question.
No, don't.
One of your first dates, with D, y'all go to a hockey game, right? And you pull a dead catfish from around your waist.
Right.
What is her reaction?
Probably not great, but she doesn't like iguanas either. So, like,
yeah, but before you did that, you were married.
I can't imagine that anybody does that on a first date, though. I feel like if you're going to be catfish boy, that's like marriage time. Like if I were to do it now and I'm like, hey, D, we're going to Nashville and we're going to go see the Predators game and I want to throw a catfish on the ice, she's going to have to deal with me throwing that catfish on the ice.
But see, at least you're telling her. I don't know.
I would be more upset that he didn't clue me in on it and that I couldn't bring in a catfish.
Yeah,
because I would like to throw a catfish.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you wouldn't be mad that the dude you with smells like bad seafood.
No, I would be mad that
you'd be mad that y'all both didn't smell like bad seafood.
Yeah, I would be mad about that because I want to be a part of the bit.
You don't want to be left out of the bit.
Hey, my wife would look at me and go, I don't like hockey that much.
We'll take a break. The damage is done, my friend. Is next. Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program as your Miami Dolphins are in the midst of mandatory minicamp, unless you have an excused absence. Panthers up 2-1. Let's get to our favorite Tuesday game. The damage is done, my friend. So mine goes to, first off, the Edmonton Oilers. Specifically, I'm going to start with their head coach, Chris Knobloch, who's a baby. Because yesterday after the game, he's sitting here still boo-hooing about certain calls from the last game that he's not getting. And you could already just tell this is not a team that's about it, Leroy.
Can you win a game like this where there's so much special teams and so much chippiness? Are you getting kind of too far along into the way that the Panthers want to play?
No, I don't think so. We got some guys maybe would love to drop the gloves a little more and get at her a little bit, but I like we're a big physical team. Like we do have some skilled guys, and I don't see our skilled guys getting distracted and getting into that. The guys who like it are getting into it. So, and just following up with the penalties, the referees, I think they did an outstanding job tonight, and they even caught the too many men penalty in the first period, which was too many men. They caught us there. I just wish they had been calling the game in game 2 in overtime.
Wow. I mean, you want to talk about if you put a poster of Rent Free, it would look like Chris Knobloch. Still belly aching about a too many men call from a game that's already over.
One of the things I love about Paul Maurice, he does not go there. Right? He refuses to go there. He never talks about officiating. He always talks about what his guys have to do to win a game or win the next game. That's it. And when you start complaining as a coach, it opens up the door for excuses to be had by your team. So
here's some more of the Oilers. This is Evander Kane, who basically played like a Tasmanian devil yesterday, who didn't know the rules.
I was ready to get him up.
This is what he had to say. He thinks the Panthers are getting away with too much.
The game obviously got out of hand at the end there. That stuff is going to happen. I mean, you look at some of the calls and whatnot. Obviously, some of them are frustrating. They seem to get away with it more than we do.
Why are they frustrated?
They seem to get away with it more than we do. I mean, it's tough to find the line. They're doing just as much stuff as we are. It was 4-4 at the end of it, and then it gets out of hand, and there seems to be a little bit more attention in our group.
Are we?
I mean,
are we?
Wait, so he could just replace that "we" with "me," because you're the only person that spent more time in the penalty box than on the ice.
Bro, you backhanded Carter Verhaeghe's face. Like, what do you want? What do you want the officials to just ignore it? It's crazy to me. Like, he played like an absolute dum-dum yesterday, and he got caught.
Not his best game.
Not his best game, dude. And he was playing well.
Either.
He was playing well, but he played like an absolute dumbass yesterday. And he's just going, oh, they're getting away with more.
Again, when you hear the Panthers talk, win or lose, and you hear the Panthers coach talking, Paul Maurice, win or lose, and then you hear other teams talk, and you wonder, how are they ever going to beat the Panthers? Because their mindset is not in the right place.
No, no.
Like, you can't do nothing about a call from two games ago. You got to win the next game. But you're still talking about that. So how are you going to get your guys and your team focused on task at hand? What has to be done next? The great thing about Paul Maurice, no matter what you talk about the game, he will always talk about what has to be done tomorrow. Always.
What do you got for damages done?
So, besides you guys just we almost made it through the interview, and somebody had to bring it up, right? And I had to get ridiculed.
He was talking about hair.
I
got
had to
ridiculed
get
by a Hall of Famer, though.
a Hall of Famer.
Like that's an honor.
You know who he reminds me of? LT. He does kind of sound like him.
He came in shenanigans, dude. I love that guy.
Yes.
From the
Yes.
second I
He's
said,
like-
nice to meet you.
he goes-
This man was
He
constant on
he
me.
goes to me as he walks in, he goes, high five, and I have to like hop up to give him a high five.
Right.
I was like, you sir are gonna fit right in here. We talked to Michael Cooper, Hall of Famer, coach
Yeah.
of the 305, the Miami 305 in the Big 3 League.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's almost 70. That energy is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. I hope I have that kind of energy in a couple of years.
Jennifer, what damage is done for you?
Well, besides Leroy's chin hair,
Whoa.
did you guys see Paul Maurice during an interview during the game? How
Mhm.
Oh, what he said about what he
he
said
tried
about
to sabotage.
Oh, when he was
Sam
talking, yeah,
Bennett.
Yeah.
He said that
You
he
see
had
how his tone,
no
his
terrible
tone-
attitude.
as soon as they talked about money, he's like, oh
He
no.
was like, what can I say in order for him to just stay here?
He's a bad guy.
For his value. I mean, it's a little too late, sir.
And
Everyone
wait,
can
and
see.
keep in mind, the reason why you have to love Paul Maurice, this is in the first period of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Very relaxed.
Yeah.
I love that guy. But yeah, the damage is done. I mean, like,
Damage is done.
we see the value in him. And I'm very scared also. So I wouldn't do the same thing.
You're scared about losing him?
Yeah.
People are going to come with bags just to try and break up the
There-
Panthers. That's definitely what's going to happen this summer.
But here's
It's
the
like
deal.
all the time.
Here's the deal. Here's what I don't want the Panthers to do. Don't talk about state tax. Don't talk about all those things are important. Just be upfront with him. Say, look, here's what we can offer you. We want to keep this thing going. We want you to maybe take a little bit less. We're going to give you a substantial contract. But if you don't, we understand. If you make this about money, we understand. We can't compete with that.
Is there anything better than when you're going into free agency and winning the Conn Smythe? Like, is there like
Not really.
when you walk in,
Not
you're just like
Not really.
you bring that into the negotiations? Are you allowed to keep that for a summer? How does that work with the Conn Smythe? Do you
No,
just
you get a
two?
trophy.
So you,
Like
oh,
it's like when guys get the MVP. You get a new one every year.
just bring that into the negotiating table.
I don't think, you know what, to be honest with you, I don't think he has to bring any props. Because the people that's going to offer him a lot of money know who the hell he is.
They know his value. They know what he's done.
But I always wonder, is a guy good because he fits so great with the team he's on? Or could he do that anywhere? And that's the, because we can take somebody like Barkov. Barkov can be Barkov anywhere, right? Connor McDavid can be Connor McDavid anywhere. Can Draisaitl be Draisaitl anywhere? Or does it come in conjunction with playing on a line that's not with Connor McDavid or them playing with Connor McDavid, right? There's a lot of things that go into that as a player, you have to kind of understand. Like to understand that, hey, I'm going to be the best version of me if I continue to play with the Panthers.
I think the thing that's going to attract people to Bennett is that not only that he's a skilled player, but because he's a guy who plays on the line, he has an attitude to him, and that he can almost in a Tkachuk type of way. Now, Tkachuk was younger when the Panthers brought him in, but can change kind of the dynamic of your team. That's why it's going to be so attractive. It feels like he's not only skilled, but he's a culture changer.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but there's certain cultures that don't respond well to.
Yeah, because he
how
could go
they
to.
do.
I mean, like Toronto could throw the bag at him, and they could still pull a Toronto, and then you're mad at him because he didn't take you over the top.
Right.
You know, Brittany, what damage is done for you?
At this point, I'm just committing to the bit, and I really tried to not come up with something F1. But this morning, I woke up and they did it too. No, they blame F1. Blame F1. They came out with the 2026 schedule, and they took Imola off of the schedule, which is one of the Italian Grand Prix. It's been around for like 40 years. It's like one of the most traditional tracks in F1, and they took it off the schedule to replace it with Madrid. So damage is done. I am very upset about it, especially because I'm a Ferrari fan. So
I apologize. I'm sorry
okay.
that
I really tried though.
What you wanted to happen didn't happen. I'm sorry for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are there other races in Italy that you like?
Well, there is Monza, but it's like there's an advantage in having 2 Italian races. And now the advantage is gone. Plus, it's tradition. Imola is one of the oldest tracks in F1, and they just wiped it.
How do you feel about that new movie coming out?
I'm a little I'm iffy on it, honestly, because I know that as like a person who understands F1, it's gonna be a little gimmicky because it's not gonna follow like tradition. But I also have to go into the mindset of it's a movie,
It's Hollywood.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not really happy about Brad Pitt being in the movie.
It's somewhere in between Talladega Nights and.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like Talladega Nights, but no, I think it's a lot less funny comedy than Talladega Nights.
PK Subban's still doing the hat thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still walking around with that hat. Looks ridiculous.
Does it?
He looks like the bad guy in Mortal Kombat.
It's a really large hat. It looks like the hamburger.
It's a very large hat.
And you know what else I didn't realize?
Hmm?
He's not a small dude. You see him standing on the set with all the other guys. He's not small.
No, but his hat is not small either.
Yeah.
And he's loving life right now with that hat.
My grandfather got me a cowboy. He wore a cowboy hat every day of his life because he's from Texas, and he thought that's what Texans do. So I remember one.
Is that not what Texans do? I feel like that is what Texans do.
Yeah, but
Well,
he was in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, so people didn't take too kindly to that hat.
Sheriff.
But everybody knew it was him, so it was kind of his thing. So I remember one year he bought me a hat, and I'm like, I ain't wearing that.
I think you could rock the hat well.
Yeah. Cowboy hat?
Yeah, I feel like you could.
What color is it?
You should try that with the blue beard.
See.
You still have it?
What?
No.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Mike McDaniel saying no words because of Jalen Ramsey. That's next. All right, welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. Let's get to our headlines, which are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral Volkswagen, choose from over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock, as they will have for the best prices at Volkswagen. Get them at Doral Volkswagen. Like the Tiguan, the Taos, and the Atlas. So check that on out, everybody. Panthers win last night 6-1. Brad Marchand yesterday, he opened up the scoring for the Panthers. You got that goal call yesterday, Brittany. Brad Marchand with the goal to start things off for the Cats.
Off a face-off, Anton Lundell behind the net in the offensive end. And he bounces one out front. This one loose. Marchand shot. He scores! And the Panthers are on the board early. Brad Marchand out of the left circle. 56 seconds in. He pounced on a loose puck, and he cashes in. 1-0 Panthers.
Brad Marchand has now scored 3 straight goals for the Panthers. And it only took 56 seconds off this one.
He had the shorty, the overtime winner, and open up the scoring. He has been an unbelievable Panther thus far. And then as penalties were going back and forth willy-nilly in the first period, finally, after Bob got lit up goalie interference, the Cats, who had a couple opportunities to cash in, Carter Verhaeghe, he makes it 2-0.
Bennett far boards, back out to Schmidt at the right point. High slot Rodriguez to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe a chance, he scores! It's a power play goal for Carter Verhaeghe. Top corner pass Skinner. 2-0 Panthers.
Paul Maurice with that second unit elects to go to it again.
Yeah, he goes to the second unit for the power play. Doug Plagens, the birthday boy, last night on the call with the great Billy Lindsay here on 560 WQAM. The Oilers, they'd come out in the start of the second period. Corey Perry would get a power play goal on the rebound, make it 2-1. But a mere 2 minutes later, less than 2 minutes later, Sam Reinhart, Rhino, he gets himself on the board.
Down to our right inside the Edmonton zone, it's Klingberg. Far corner, bumped down by Barkov. A battle for a loose puck. Panthers have it. Reinhart, a shot, he scores! Out of the far circle, off the iron and in. Sam Reinhart gets the Panthers up by a pair once again. Exactly 3 minutes into period number 2. 3-1 Panthers. Sam Reinhart.
Sam Reinhart gets his first goal in 6 games. Man strength by Barkov down deep in the corner.
Man, that was Goose's galore.
Good to see him get back into the mix.
Yeah, that line has not been exactly producing points. They get one yesterday and start getting that critical lead. And then really Sam Bennett put the dagger in it with this monster breakaway. Him and Eetu Luostarinen. Eetu gives up the puck. Sam Bennett takes care of the rest, puts the Cats up 4-1.
And then Tkachuk in against Klingberg. Puck played to the line. And it's taken away. A breakaway. Luostarinen hands it on. Bennett in. Bennett scores! Top shelf, and the Panthers take a 4-1 lead with 12:34 to go here in the second. What a shift for playoff Sam. The Panthers lead by a trio.
He destroys Von Colson with a hit. Cutting through the middle of the ice.
There you go. Bennett, that really broke the Oilers because then they started all their nonsense. Ekblad, he blasted Connor McDavid, sent him right to his ass. He had to go back to the locker room for a little bit. But after that, we started getting the extracurriculars. And the damage was done. I mean, I don't know what, they're sitting here, they're trying to make something happen. There was no point of it. You guys lost. And Cats are just laughing in your face. Nico Mikkola, Jonah Gadjevich, Bennett, Tkachuk, Brad Marchand pointing to his head. I mean, like they were mocking the Oilers the entire time. Gonna be a hell of a 2 days for Edmonton to stew into that one. Panthers could take a death grip on this series with a win on Thursday night. Other news, the Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford fight officially announced for September 13th in Las Vegas. But here's a cool thing. Streaming on Netflix. No pay-per-view.
What?
No pay-per-view for Canelo versus Terence Crawford. It's going to be on Netflix.
How much money do you think they spent?
Oh, I don't know. A lot. I'm going to tell you something right now, Netflix. I better not have no Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shenanigans. You better be buttoned up for this fight.
We're going to be there. Oh,
We don't know that we're going to be there. I don't think you don't just get to say, like we get to be at every fight.
Never assume.
Why not?
It's not the same promoter that we usually go with.
All right. Call your people.
What
I know if I had control of it and I knew the people, we'd be.
It's not the same people. You just think there's a number. You think there's a phone I pick up and just go, hello, boxing.
Yeah.
That's how you think it works. That's not how that works.
All right.
I'll try. I'll effort it if you want to go so bad. I mean, but either way.
Well, don't make it sound like I'm the only one that wants to go.
Well, you just said we're going to be like, it was very presumptuous of you. That's all.
It was.
At one point, you said you were going to try to get all of us in there.
I didn't say that for this fight. I didn't say that.
There was a fight. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. Some of these fights, I wouldn't wish it on you. Like, the fight's cool. Radio Row's cool. Living experience. I never been so sick from one of those trips. In my life.
It had nothing to do with the fight, though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It had with you being at Excalibur.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So we got that. Mike McDaniel addressing the Jalen Ramsey thing. This thing genuinely seems to make him crazy. This was Mike McDaniel earlier today when asked about the whole Jalen Ramsey scenario and why it hasn't been dealt with yet. Here's what he had to say on.
Just to confirm, Jalen Ramsey not here.
Oh, he is not here. That would we are focused on building the Dolphins today, and anything outside of that would any sort of distractions I'm not focused on.
Are you surprised it's taken this long to find a resolution with the team?
I don't personally, and I would lump you into this with me. I don't give a shit about what I feel. I'm not. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately. And so the business is business. The opportunity that business does provide in the off season is a rep to the team about handling noise. What do I define noise as? Noise is things that don't have to do with what actually you're there to do and you should be focused on doing because you'll be held accountable to do. So business in the off seasons allows you to speak to your team about how the focus of noise is a constant battle that if you're successful, you have to win.
Is he okay?
I'm out of breath.
I was going to say, he said a whole bunch of nothing.
Is he okay?
What?
Is he all right? Like, I don't want, like, first of all, what's with the potty mouth lately, Mike McDaniel?
It's very aggressive.
This Jalen Ramsey thing seems to really have him fried.
Well, I think as it should anyone, right? When you bring in a player who you think is going to be a big contributor and then he's not, that in itself is frustrating. Now you put in the reasons as to why, which we aren't really privy to, and that can make it even more annoying. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that every coach has a situation like this. I think about Cleveland, how many times Kevin Stefanski gets asked about Deshaun Watson, right? For whatever reason.
I mean, I understand that he's your franchise quarterback. I get that. But like there's definitely a level of animosity with this whole Jalen Ramsey thing that we haven't heard from Mike McDaniel because he's genuinely a nonsensical, happy-go-lucky guy.
Right.
You know, he says words that don't necessarily mean words. Like somebody said, if word salad was a person, it's a great way to put him. If word salad was a person, but he's got a little extra bite when it comes to this Jalen Ramsey thing that we haven't necessarily heard from him before.
I think part of that is just getting asked repeatedly.
Well, that's the game.
No, I understand that. It doesn't mean you can't get annoyed by it. So I think a lot of the stuff that he's experiencing is like, yeah, man, like this is what it is. Sometimes when you try to be, and here's where I've always fallen, and here's why I stopped doing this. All right. It works for me because of how I handle myself, but it doesn't work for everybody. I am way past the point of being politically correct because I always believe that if I'm telling the truth and I'm being honest with myself, can't nobody say a damn thing about it. So if there's a situation and you're honest about it and it's factual, so be it, right? I think what happens with Mike is he's trying to be the company guy while being annoyed at the same time. And it comes across the way he answers questions because he can't just keep it real.
Jerry
and for reasons I understand, but that's why we got a word salad.
Jerry says, that sounds like the hot seat. He said, Gonzalo says, there's noise coming out of his mouth, but not coherent sentences. Tears says, God, I'm happy after the season when we don't have to talk about Mike McDaniel anymore. Humble and Kind says, why can't our coach talk normal? Touch of Class says, I don't know what I missed about hearing McDaniel's voice. It's not what I wanted to hear coming back.
Word salad with raisins. By the way, let me just put this PSA out of there. Raisins are not made for salad. Stop putting them in salad. When I eat my salad, I'm expecting a certain...
No. You don't eat salad.
I do.
No, you don't.
Periodically.
Only when he's forced by Big Spoon.
No, Big Spoon doesn't force me, but sometimes salad pairs well with what I'm eating. For example, I don't like rice. So sometimes when my wife cooks, she'll make rice, she'll make, pasta or something like that. And I won't eat those. But when I have my meal, I'll just say, you know what, I need to put something. I'll eat a little salad, right? So it's because the other options are, I don't want those. But stop putting raisins, you bougie ass people. Stop putting raisins on the top of salads.
Very aggressive over this.
It is. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's raisins.
Why do you care what anybody else is putting on their salad?
You ain't eating.
Why do you care what anybody else is putting on their salad?
Because my neighbor brought over a salad and it had raisins on it.
Next time, tell him you're allergic to
Hey,
raisins.
did you do you like raisins in your salad?
Who?
You.
I hate raisins, period.
See that? See? I'm not alone in this.
I don't think this is a pandemic though of salads. Like I don't picture everybody going around being like, oh, raisins again.
There's other things. There's other things that people put in salads that are just like, I'm not a big fan of nuts. Don't put nuts on my salad.
You need to grow up, Jennifer.
Grow up. Wait.
You need to grow up.
I was laughing at your face when he was saying that.
Wait. No. Stop lying. You're being
I swear.
You're being a child.
What are you, 8?
I was laughing at his face. You didn't look at his face?
I didn't do anything.
Liar.
Yeah, he almost got us fired with that look when Z Google was here.
I didn't do anything of the sort.
What? Give him the look. Wait. When she said I was sitting right next to her, right? She says Z Google, right? And you know what I did? I looked up at Tobin. Tobin gave the look. And then Beast started, put his hand between his head and his palms. And then I'm sitting right next to him and I'm doing quiet laugh.
I just noticed yesterday the head movement on AJ Greer as the dude tried to torpedo in on him, and he completely okey doked him. You think the coach looks at the Oilers afterwards and goes, All right, we got that out of our system because you guys are really bad at fighting.
He said, we need to stop. Wait, he's going to go in there with, we need to stop having penalties. And if you're going to have a penalty, don't make it for fighting because you ain't winning none of them.
What about Kulikov, who just had that guy pinned down and just that man did not move?
Yeah, because Russia.
At all.
Because Russia.
Loved it.
Funny, man. Try to make me move.
Look at him. He's just there. That man's not moving.
Nope.
And then he just leaves him there and walks away. Like, I won this.
So we have another night with no basketball.
Nothing tonight.
No, right. So why is everybody taking 2 days off?
I don't know why the NHL is taking 2 days off.
They just took 2 days off.
I don't know.
Because let me ask, do they position the series because they want game 7 to be on a certain day?
I think they're trying to avoid each other. I think they're trying to not have overlap days for sure. But I don't understand why. I mean, that's the only reason why there isn't a game here on Wednesday for the NHL, because it doesn't make sense that there's 2 days off for them staying in Florida, and then there's only 1 day off between 4 and 5.
Right.
So I can only assume it's to avoid conflict of the NBA Finals.
But the NBA Finals, they took a few days off too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, because to be honest with you, even the last game was on Saturday or Sunday. It was on Sunday.
Last game was on Sunday, yeah.
And I literally forgot about it. Right? Like I was just going on with my day and I'm like, ooh, basketball's tonight.
We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Hey, the big three in their most anticipated season yet will take center court in Miami at Kaseya Center on June 29th. Get your tickets now at KaseyaCenter.com. If you guys missed it, Hall of Famer Michael Cooper, the coach of the Miami 305, joined us in studio earlier. We'll bring that to you guys coming up a little bit later on. If you missed it, and celebrating the Panthers all day. They win 6-1 in Game 3 over the Oilers. Another beatdown from the Cats. They're back on the ice Thursday. And then after that, it'll be Saturday in Edmonton. 2 days off if there is a Game 6. That would be Tuesday the 17th. So that's the upcoming slate for the Cats. But absolutely dominant performance from them yesterday. Our guy, Sergei Bobrovsky. He was asked about the brawls yesterday. This is what he had to say on all the shenanigans.
Sergei, when there's like a line brawl like that, like there was in the third period, and you're on the other side of the ice, obviously, just what's going through your mind?
No, nothing. You just, I mean, like it's part of the game. So.
Hey, no.
Nothing.
You know what he does? He goes and stands in his own personal penalty box. Like he goes over to the side.
Admires the fighting.
Right.
They did dump truck him yesterday though. At one point, this was him on the
goodness. A couple times too. Though.
This is him on the physicality that they tried to bring to the table.
Does it bother you when you got pushed down tonight? There was a penalty there. It seemed like they were trying to be more physical.
Oh, it's all right. It's also I appreciate the respect, but it's part of the game. They're gonna do that, and it's all right.
That's a cold mother bleeper right there. He goes, "Oh, it's respect because they know they can't beat me. They need to cheat me." Like that guy's an assassin between the pipes. I'm sorry. They had to yank Skinner yesterday. Skinner got absolutely lit up. He was biting on everything. Honestly, could have given up 8 goals yesterday. Some of the chances the Cats had on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, don't forget who was it? Reinhardt just whiffed.
Oh, Reinhardt,
on a wide open net.
Wide open. They had a deflection that was right there. They had a lot of chances on Skinner.
And then when they did score, I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell was the goalie spread eagle like a starfish? Right? It was like that's a hard position to get in outside the crease anyway.
Everybody chimed in saying, Bob right there, that's focus. Yeah, that's what that is. That's reset, refocus. And then I love when they go to show him just sitting there in the intermission and he's just peeling that banana, not a care in the world, just waiting for it all to start. He's just casually just eating the banana. And you can just see the focus on his face because that's what Bob does.
Right.
Like it's just not deterred at all.
Nothing gets past this.
Vlad says death taxes and Bob being next to each other in the Cup final. It's become a tradition, Vlad. Boots on the ice. I love him so much. He's so good. What a legend.
Well, I can't even call you a Johnny come lately because you have been a Bob guy since Bob came to Florida, even through the rough times.
Did you see on Sportsnet they did a piece they put on social media and they're like, one word to describe Bob. And everybody's like, legend, brick wall, unstoppable. And they go to Bob and he goes, I don't know. There's no time for the games. I don't care.
Which is, now, to be fair, is he the only person on that team that's not down for the shenanigans? Even the coach, right?
I just think he's just a different cat. Like he does, I think he has his
but
fun.
Goalies, they say goalies are like that.
Yeah, no, but I think
I think he's his own different
there's
breed.
goalie and then there's Sergei Bobrovsky. Like there's routines that people have and then there's goalie religion like he has.
The most shenanigans he's had is with Tobin.
That's true. We started off with shenanigans. Well, actually, we started off with him telling me he was uncomfortable. But then after that, we got comfortable.
I was trying to think. Have we ever not had shenanigans on our show?
No.
From day one, right?
No. Day one.
Day one.
Day one, dude. That was the vision. We'll take a break. The mixed bag is next. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Cats win yesterday, 6-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. They take a 2-1 series lead. Let's dive into some more things here in the mixed bag. And along with the mixed bag, we'll hit this up with a little road to repeat brought to us by our friends over at Celsius. Hockey fans, don't sit this one out when it's game time. Make Celsius a part of your play and get that energy up. Game day is fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of
your Florida Panthers. Got a little cherry cola right there.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That ASMR, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday, the Panthers, they win. But one of the storylines, of course, has been around taking credit away from the Panthers, which is because the only reason they're good, even though this has been true their entire existence, is no state tax. That is the only reason for their success. And so Gary Bettman goes on the TNT pregame show and rips Paul Bissonnette because this has been his high horse that he's trying to ride on, that Canada is at a disadvantage because of the tax situation. And here's what the NHL Commish had to say on TNT.
I don't want to take anything away from the teams from Florida and the state of Florida. But do it anyway. Ace put me in a headlock when I brought this up on the broadcast in the conference final. Any plans maybe in the future to implement a balance as far as the no state tax? And
no, you know, when you stop.
I'm just asking.
It's a ridiculous issue. When the Florida teams weren't good, which was for about 17 years, okay, nobody said anything about it. And, you know, for those of you who played, okay, were you sitting there with the tax table? No, you wanted to go to a good organization in a place where you wanted to live, where you wanted to raise your kids and send them to school. You wanted to play in a first-class arena with a first-class training facility, with an owner, an organization, a GM, and a coach that you were comfortable with, and you wanted to have good teammates so you'd have a shot at winning. That's what motivates it. Could it be a little bit of a factor if everything else were equal? I suppose, but that's not it. And by the way, state taxes high in Los Angeles, high in New York. What are we going to do? Subsidize those teams?
Can we take tax away from the province of Ontario at least, just for the league's sake? We need something, Gary.
You know, I was watching you during the prior rounds. Your attire was a little suspect in terms of your journalistic objectivity.
You just said 3 words and I don't know who's got the next question.
You confused him. Yeah.
Wow.
Woo! Hey.
Bettman brought the flamethrower, dude.
Yes, he did.
I have to reconsider you, Gary Bettman. Maybe I had you all wrong. After
it is foolish because he made the first point was the best point.
Yeah.
And that was, where were your no state tax for the last 17 years?
It's so dumb. I can't even with the idea that we're talking now 30 years without Canada winning a Stanley Cup. And by the way, a Canadian team is still on the other side of the Stanley Cup for the last 2 years, trying to beat the Florida team. You guys do nothing but praise their best player left and right. Not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but can we stop with this? It's absolutely ridiculous. And the only guy that really made his push to get to Florida to start all this was Matthew Tkachuk. He's American. He wanted to be in America. He wanted to be flip-flops and the beach. And for years, that was mocked. Like, Jaromir Jagr's coming down here to retire. Guys are coming down here to retire. This is going to be a final destination where you can catch golf and a little side of hockey. Now, all of a sudden, they're on this elite run, and people want – it's just irritating. I'm telling you, man. Rat bastards. Flipping things over to football, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he is explaining what he's going to do with Zach Wilson, as Zach Wilson's their new backup. This is what he sees in the former number 2 overall pick and his time with the Finns.
I'm going to challenge the guy. And because at the quarterback position, you are supremely challenged every drive, every quarter. And he looks like a guy that has been through some shit and found his way through it, because it does not make him worse. He learns from it, and that's realistically the best thing that's gone on this offseason is I've seen a lot of people match those types of energies of supreme conviction in trying to be their very best, and you do that by boldly attacking stuff a lot of times that are uncomfortable.
There you go. Zach Wilson, Dolphins backup QB. Apparently had 2 interceptions, nearly a third one today. One of them a pick 6.
It's practice.
That it is.
You want, and I don't know how to explain this. You want your quarterback to be reckless in practice almost, because you want him to be able to see what throws he can make, what throws he can't make, where he needs to be more careful, where he needs to watch out for certain defenses and stuff like that. If he completes every pass in practice and then tries to push the issue in during a game, you'll really hate that. So when people say, oh, so-and-so had 3 picks today, so that's what practice is for, to test what you can and can't do.
It is also Zach Wilson. He throws picks.
Oh, all right. Yikes.
What?
So you think if he didn't throw any picks in practice that you would think more of him?
I don't know what I would think.
I think that quarterbacks that don't throw picks in the preseason or don't throw picks at practice, right? They're the ones that have problems during the season, because in the season, when you got to force an issue or make a tight throw, you can't do it because you've always taken the safe route in practice. You got to push yourself in practice.
One man who never takes the safe route is Matthew Tkachuk. He's a menace. And this was Matthew Tkachuk on the team's play yesterday.
Second period was pretty 5-on-5. Third period was all power play. So got to save the legs a little bit in the third, but it was a great great first 4. Yeah, I mean, maybe in the third we played super well and super disciplined, just like a veteran older team who's been here. This is our 3rd time at it. Just it's a series and you got to stick up for each other, but got to be smart too. So we thought it was great that guys are sticking up for each other, and at the end of the day, it's just a big win. And
he's by far the person everybody's most annoyed with, though. Like, there's the 3-on-1s of people trying to go get him is ridiculous.
Yeah, because they go after him, they think they've done something, and then he puts his mouthpiece back in his mouth and smiles. And you're like, damn, that did nothing.
No. He's completely taken over rent-free in your head.
I believe, and I believe this to be almost factual. The closer you get, the closer Edmonton gets to playing the Panthers game, the more likely they are to lose. You've played 6 months of hockey, and it gets down to the last month, and now you don't have confidence in what you've done throughout the course of the year. If it's not good enough, it's not good enough. But I'm sure as hell not going to go out trying to be some team that I'm not, right? That whole team was built on speed and quickness and just skill with the puck. And now they've all of a sudden got themselves in a street fight, and even their coach, oh, we're tough. That's not your thing, dude. That's the Panthers thing. That's not your thing.
Yeah, but it's noticeable that this seems to happen every round. Is like
every team, right?
You start off normal, and then the Panthers just drag you into those deep waters, and you just can't help yourself anymore. Like it is a part of their strategy to get you off kilter. They just do it. It just feels like they kind of do it by 1,000 cuts.
They wear you down to where you get to game 5, 6, and 7. You don't know what hit you. But I blame the coach, right? Like everybody talk. I keep saying this. People don't understand the calming effects of having somebody like Paul Maurice, a coach that keeps the message consistent, that he doesn't overreact to good or bad things, right? And when you hear the players talk, They don't overreact. In fact, they're more inclined, a guy who got 3 teeth knocked out is more inclined to say something like, that's playoff hockey, right? Instead of carrying on like Edmonton is. And it all starts with their coach. Their coach is doing all that complaining and bitching and moaning, right? And now the players are starting to do it. You got Kane doing it. And guess what? The Panthers smile and go, we got you right where we want you. And they still fall for it. Every round, they fall for it. They try to fight. They try to be physical. And that's not your thing.
Jamison Olive from FloridaPanthers.com. He tweets out, Leon Draisaitl had 0 shot attempts in Game 3. He had 15 shot attempts in 1 and 2. Great defensive effort from the Cats. He also tweets out that Paul Maurice talking a lot this morning about how the Panthers played their best game in last year's Stanley Cup Final following their 8-1 loss in Edmonton in Game 4. He expects a big response from the Oilers on Thursday.
Yeah, punch them in the mouth. They'll quit. That's where I am with them. Like, no matter how physical it, first of all, think about this. This is a fact. Has a person ever come up to you and told you how they were and it was accurate? You think, you know what I mean? If you have to tell somebody how you are, then you have doubts about that. So the fact that Edmonton is trying to tell everybody that we're physical too and we're going to show you, they're already outside of their element.
Yeah, especially with Evander Kane saying like, "Oh, the refs are letting them get away with stuff." Like, it's
exactly.
Like, dude, you played like a horse's ass yesterday. I don't know what to tell you. You're sitting here and you're blaming the officials with how you went about your business yesterday. It's ridiculous.
Again, that all comes from how your coach responds to stuff like that. Paul Maurice would never, ever, ever respond to the Panthers' play on the ice and talk about officiating. He always focuses on what the Panthers need to do, how they need to do it, what things they did great, and what things they need to improve on. After every game, win or lose. And so all of the players handle themselves accordingly. When you hear everybody talk, nobody complains. No, that's just playoff hockey. We got to be ready for that. We got to be ready for the physicality. We got to be this. Nobody complains about any of that crap.
We'll take a break here on the show. Final hour coming on up. Back after this. All right, welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Let's get to headlines here. Brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral Volkswagen. Choose from over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock like the Tiguan, Taos, and Atlas. And remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. Michael Cooper, head coach of the Miami 305, Basketball Hall of Famer, Showtime Lakers legend. He's going to join us coming up later on this hour. Talk some hoops with him. We have an update, Leroy. I have some high-def picture here for our YouTube Twitch audience on the bloody rat that sparked much controversy on the ice yesterday.
I'm scared.
But as you can see here,
That's
that rat is tied to a ketchup bottle.
Look, just like I told you to. Oh wait, that's kind of like a concert wristband.
Diabolical.
That's plastic too. That's not a bottle.
It almost looks like paint.
It's
Not
plastic.
ketchup.
That's one of the plastic bottles.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
like
they left
paint.
it open.
Yeah,
That's
nothing gets past you, Jacques Cousteau.
Got past you. You thought it was blood, dummy.
Well, he didn't have a close up.
Yeah, I got close up.
So I think Gurney is right. That is
That
like
looks
blood.
nothing like blood, by the way.
Not blood. Sorry, paint.
Not up close, but definitely far away it did.
No, blood's not that red.
All right, dude. What are you, Dexter? Like you do blood spatter for Miami PD? You didn't know.
Neither did you, but you went out.
You've gone for 2 weeks with a blue beard. I'm not going to take any color advice from you. Getting mocked by Hall of Famers on this show.
At least I could grow hair.
Dude, I could grow a blue beard if I wanted to. I choose not to because you look like a ridiculous Smurf.
Badass Smurf.
No. Oh, yeah, so badass. Your wife forced it on you.
At least I can grow a little chin music here.
Yeah, at least if you had that, you would think you could grant wishes. You can't.
Why are you lashing out?
I'm not lashing out.
It's your fault, Jennifer. You made sure you brought it up.
I mean, I was just trying to clear it up, because he probably looked at you and he was like, blue. That's a choice.
That's why he said when he left.
I got this just like you got bangs.
Actually, mine was not. Well,
No, you didn't ask for bangs. You got bangs. We know the story, Jennifer. Okay. Did anybody make fun of your bangs? No.
Bangs are a completely normal hairstyle.
You make fun of me all the time. You're like, you can't even see. I can. I see everything.
Now all of a sudden.
Tua speaking in the media.
Them big old baby, you should be able to see the future.
Baby Browns.
Yep.
I don't think that's a thing.
It's a thing.
I don't think it is. Never heard anybody ever say. I've never heard anybody say baby Browns in my life.
Baby Browns. Today is the first day you're gonna hear it constantly.
Doesn't even seem to make sense.
Baby Browns.
Tua speaking in the media, he says that the Dolphins have undergone a culture shift.
Really? You know what? You could all be jackasses all the time. Just be tougher at it. Okay? You can change the culture or whatever, but when it's 3rd and 1 on Sunday, man up. And they could say whatever they want to avoid those situations. They could say whatever they want to avoid the circumstances that have plagued them for the last 2 years. But the fact of the matter is, what culture change are you going to have that makes you tougher in those critical moments? Otherwise, shut up.
Wow.
Tired of hearing all this nonsense.
We
know what the problem is. You know what the problem is. Stop trying to run sweeps on 3rd and 1. Get physical, get in somebody's face, and run the ball downhill.
Make sure you
Point for Leroy.
Please make sure, Brittany, you title today's podcast, Leroy Tells Tua to shut up.
I will. I'm going to write it down.
Listen.
No. You're responding to Tua. Just own it.
Let me ask you a question, Tobin. If I told you the Miami Dolphins had a culture change, what is the first thing that you would think of? They got physical up front. No, what would you think?
I mean, hopefully people showing up on time would be nice.
Okay. I mean, sure. That's a start. Okay. But we're done with baby steps.
From Omar Kelly's Twitter, quote, "We have the right guys within the room in the locker room. I've been here 5 going on 6 years. Are you not tired of what we've had going on?" Yes, I would say we're all tired, Tua.
But what's different than
We're
what's being
very,
put-
very tired.
Like, what did they add to change the culture?
What did they
add?
add?
Avanaya. There's a big they got what's his name playing left tackle right now? Patrick Paul. You know, they have listen. I'm gonna say this while understanding, and then I'm gonna follow up with my own saying. They have made attempts to get bigger and more physical up front. Okay? I'll give them that. But the fact of the matter is if Mike McDaniel doesn't get with the program, they're not going to be any different. And that is with how he calls a game, with how they attack the line of scrimmage. If they don't change that, everything's going to be the same. The other thing is, and this is what I would normally say if Tobin would have told me some BS like this, is that you ain't played no football yet. When you put your mouthpiece in and you got to play against somebody else, then we'll see how physical you are. Everybody wants to be physical. Let me tell you something. Hey, Tobin.
Yep.
Have you ever met a boxer who said he wasn't going to knock the other guy out? They always say they're going to knock him out.
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm going to piece him up. I'm going to knock him out. And then guess what? They go into that fight, doom, 2-piece soda, out. Right?
Some guys
but that's the way they go into the fight.
Some guys get their prediction right.
Some guys. But wait. Some guys, everybody talks about knocking the other guy out. Everybody. Some guys are actually good enough to do it. And what I'm saying to you is, okay, I've never heard one Dolphin in this whole offseason, after last year's season, I haven't heard one Dolphin say, we need to be more physical. They've all said we need a culture change. We all need to do this. We need guys in the locker room to do this. We need to do that. Okay? Where's the talk about being tougher? Where's the talk about being more physical? Where's the talk about being able to run the clock out at the end of a game? Where's that? Because ain't nobody talking about that. They talking right. The things they talking about right now ain't got nothing to do with damn football.
From Tua this afternoon, this from Isaiah Smalls from the Miami Herald. Tua Tagovailoa said the biggest part of emphasis this offseason was, quote, doing everything I can to stay available and learning when to give up on a play.
That's his own personal thing. I get that, right? Everybody's going to be happy to hear Tua say that, and I appreciate that. That's what he's working on. That's what he's going. Heat of the battle, sometimes you get caught up in it, and you don't realize that you're about to get knocked the bleep out, okay? So I appreciate his efforts. I understand what he's saying, right? But I'm telling you right now, if it's 3rd and 2 at the end of a game against Buffalo, and Tua throws it away instead of trying to get to 2 yards, everybody's going to be pissed off. Okay? That's just human nature. But I do appreciate that he's at least thinking about making good decisions outside of the pocket. Okay? You got to start somewhere. Now, Mike McDaniel.
Whoa.
What's your starting point? Right? Like, think about this, Tobin. We've heard Miami Dolphins talk all offseason, and ain't not one person talk about being more physical up front.
I don't feel like I've heard nobody talk about being physical up front.
Yeah, you know who talk about it? The guys who just got here who are big as hell.
Well, what do you want him to say? Nothing?
I want Mike McDaniel to say we need to be physical and run the ball a little bit differently.
He's going to say it in a lot of words. He
ain't even insinuated.
He's very twisted up right now. You could tell he's bothered by the whole Jalen Ramsey thing.
Yeah, your feelings hurt. Nobody cares. Move on. You know what? regardless of what happens to any one of us on this planet, it's still going to rotate. So lick your wounds, get ready for the season, and let's go.
Well, the other thing, too, is like with the Dolphins having the right thing in their locker room or even having the right guys, if you buy into that, like, who do they lose? I mean, like, they lost Calais Campbell, who by all accounts is a great locker room guy. Teron Armstead, great locker room guy. So, like, you're telling me all the problems center around Jalen Ramsey being here?
No, of course not. That's my point. That's my point. We're pointing out issues that weren't issues. The real issues were you couldn't get 3rd and 1 because you were running around the outside. Okay, that's the real reasons.
Yeah,
why weren't you successful? Because we couldn't run the ball in between the tackles, and any team that's had success in the National Football League could run the ball where? In between the tackles.
It would make
rocket science.
It would make sense if he said that, like, you know, if they moved on from Tyreek Hill and you really felt that that was something that changed the dynamic of the locker room because he was looked upon as one of the faces of the franchise, but they really haven't. He's going to be there.
Yeah, that was my point earlier. It's like, what culture are you changing? Like, it sounds like he's just trying to.
Is he back doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, maybe that's the culture change.
I think he should, ever since he stopped downhill. Take a break. More to come here on the show. Back after this. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. This Giannis, sick of his ass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a show pony, dude.
Now you're
Every offseason he walks in there, oh, maybe he'll be available. You know what he is, dude? He's just tall Bradley Beal. That's all he is. I'm tired of the dog and pony show. Every single offseason, oh, maybe this will be the year I leave. He tells some outlet in Brazil about the NBA Finals. He says, there are 2 great teams that got there. He says, Indiana with my friend Pascal Siakam is reaping the rewards, and OKC simply has the MVP. I'm rooting for good basketball. The finals are different. I hope to be back soon with the Bucks. I hope to be well, guess what, dude? You're not going to be back soon with the Bucks. So why don't you do me a favor, Giannis? Here's the thing, dude. Grow up. I'm so sick of this guy. Every single time he's got to have some pearl of wisdom and think that he's got to wax poetic on something. You're not going to be back with the Bucks, dude. That's it. Okay? So either grow up, Peter Pan, have your meeting with the Bucks and break up with them, or just accept the fact that you're not going back to the finals. You want to know why? Because you got Kuzma and Damian Lillard on a broken Achilles. And Doc Rivers. So you're not going anywhere. Ridiculous. And Chris Haynes, don't even get me started on you, dude, saying there was going to be some meeting 3 weeks ago. Where's my breakup meeting? He's off in Brazil. He's out there with samba and football. And I got no Giannis breaking up with the Bucks. He wants to stay with the Bucks. Okay, if he wants to stay with the Bucks, stay with the Bucks. Never wanted him. Sick of this dude, man.
You literally almost traded the whole team for Giannis.
Every single time. Oh, maybe I'll leave.
Wait a minute.
This will be the year. Shut up already then. Stop teasing everybody.
2 weeks ago, you were telling me big boy. Be a big boy.
I'm telling him to be a big boy. He needs to grow up. All this thing that he comes out with where he reprimands Halliburton's dad. Dad was just being a proud dad, rooting his son on. The year before that, another first-round exit. He's telling me that there are no failures. It's just a step to success. Look, you had a great run, but you've been Mr. First Round and out lately. So don't act here like, oh, I can't wait to get back there with the Bucks. Yeah, when, dude? No time soon. So good for you. Enjoy Milwaukee.
So maybe you jumped the gun on this, Giannis?
I didn't jump the gun on anything. He's jumping the gun.
You had trade deals out there in the makings.
No, I didn't do that because I knew that if I did and this backfired in my face, you just hold it against me. But I'm just so like
you always do it.
He just likes to have the chase.
Do we not remember Dame Lillard?
Yeah, and I don't think one thing has to do with the other. Damian Lillard demanded a trade to the Miami Heat. Not the same.
Okay.
Giannis is like, ooh, maybe I'll have a meeting. Maybe I won't. Ooh. Do something already.
He got you excited.
Not really.
Oh, my goodness. Stop it. Why do you do this?
I'm not going to stop it.
You got all excited, and you told me I don't like having fun.
You just wants to be on his hamster wheel in Milwaukee? Good. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Go hang out with the Fonz, dude. What do I care? Go have some Wiener Schnitzel with Yelich.
Couldn't he say the same thing about you if they would have paid Jimmy?
No, you're bad at this with these analogies. What does that have to do with anything?
You wanted to keep Jimmy.
Yeah, and?
So could somebody say that you're on the hamster wheel with this team by wanting to keep Jimmy?
No, because I don't have Jimmy Butler. I have Andrew Wiggins right now.
No, but I'm saying at the time, dude. Will you stop?
I wish you'd make like coherent arguments sometimes. Like sometimes you just say things that don't make sense.
That's not true.
That's
not true. That's not true. That's not true. You wanted to stay on your hamster wheel by keeping Jimmy and keeping the same group.
Giannis.
Right? Did you not? Did you not? Is that not your own version of a hamster wheel?
No, it's not.
Why?
It's not a version of a hamster wheel.
Why? Keeping the same team and doing the same thing?
Oh, the same thing that beat Giannis?
Yeah, but Giannis has a championship.
Yeah, good for him. He won a fake championship in a year. Everybody was banged up from the bubble the next year. Quick turnaround season. He didn't do anything. He had a first-round exit. He got to recharge his batteries. Completely fugazi. It's one of the least important championships in the history of championships.
Okay. So it's not the one LeBron won with an asterisk.
Well, that's an asterisk too, because he basically got a good break. He lost their leading scorer and their center for half the season.
What are you doing?
Ridiculous. But this guy wants to sit here and be like, oh, I love it here. Good. All right. So everybody has to bow down to him.
Not really.
Oh, sure. That's exactly what it is. That's all right, though. Never wanted him. Wait till Luka doesn't pick up his extension.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I did.
Well, sorry. You fell for it.
I didn't fall for it.
You fell for it.
I just didn't get too carried away with it like you do.
Appears like you did.
No, I didn't. Dude, you got so carried away with this.
I didn't get carried away with it.
And then got mad at me when I tried to tell you to pause.
No, they told me that he was going to have a breakup meeting. He didn't have a breakup meeting.
They said he was going to have a meeting. They didn't say a breakup meeting. You said a breakup
meeting.
Nobody
has a meeting not to break up.
See? Look at
this. It was an off-season meeting not to break up.
This is exactly. You know what? Keep talking. Because the more you talk, the more you expose yourself.
I don't expose myself on anything.
Really? You already said Giannis was having a breakup meeting?
Looking forward.
What were your sources?
Huh?
What were your sources on this breakup meeting?
Chris Haynes said there was going to be a breakup meeting.
He did not say breakup meeting.
He said
they were having a meeting.
What do you think? It was about the future. What do you think? He was going to say, hey, I think we should really change the feng shui of the locker room.
I'm sure he used that phrase too, feng shui. Yes, there you go.
The finals are different. I hope to be back soon with the Bucks. You won't be. Maybe you'll be back. You know when you'll be back to the finals, Giannis? You'll do like a 2031. You'll do a 10-year anniversary. That's when you'll be back.
When would the Heat be back?
Faster than without Giannis. And he'll just be saying, oh,
so wait. Let me get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
You say the Heat will get there faster without Giannis.
Yeah.
Who are they signing?
I don't know. But whoever they do, I know Giannis will be sitting there out of the first round with Kuzma.
Oh, you're amazing. You are amazing.
Delusion is a dangerous animal, my
friend.
friend.
Yes. Yeah, it is a dangerous animal.
You sat here and you're blinding yourself.
Who? Me?
Giannis. No, Giannis is blinding himself. Delusion.
You weren't blinded by the Giannis?
No. I thought a breakup meeting was going to happen, but they lied to me.
You're the worst. Because you do this, I try to talk you out of it. You say I don't like having fun, and then a month later you deny ever being in that situation. You're being a phony.
I'm not being a phony. He's being a phony. He's deluding himself.
Yeah, but you already had him in a Heat uniform.
Nah. I mean, look, he wants to sit here and play Peter Pan and act like everything's fine in Milwaukee. That's fine. I can't change his behavior. Ridiculous.
It's funny. It's funny how much you love a player, and then when they decide to not do anything with the Heat or even entertain the thought of being traded, it's funny how you change just like overnight. Every time.
I'm not.
And all I ask, as your friend, I say, hey, buddy, why don't we just tone it down in the beginning and let it play out a little bit?
We'll see.
You don't want to have no fun? You don't have no fun. Oh, Leroy, party pooper, no fun. And now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here.
You are no fun.
But now we're here.
It's all right.
And now I got my friend out here telling whoppers so he doesn't have to be accountable for the nonsense that he let out when I tried to talk him out of it a couple of months ago.
Giannis. See how long that lasts.
See? Mm-hmm. There you go. Good job.
Not the way to do it anyway, dude. Everybody sees now. Build from within. Maybe a tweak here and there. That's the way to do it. No more mercenaries. Ridiculous. I'm going to get back there with the Bucks. Okay, dude. Maybe with some tickets.
Who you think gets there first?
The Heat. What does he got?
He's got him.
Oh, and what's that done lately, Leroy?
Nothing lately. Not lately.
Gentleman sweeps left and right.
He does have a chip, though.
Yeah, he has a chip. And you know what he has lately? A lot of gin for gentleman sweeps.
But wait, can I just say this? When I say Giannis has a chip, though, and you dismiss it, you are the first person leading the charge and saying Jimmy got to the championship and the finals 2 years ago.
So it makes no sense that you keep bringing up the past because you keep saying it doesn't matter. So why are you talking about what he did 5 years ago? Who cares?
Because I'm basically using. See, I don't have a problem with the situation with Giannis because I didn't get too carried away. It's you who got carried away.
I love how you never get carried away. It's always like you have the right temperament.
Name a time. Name a time.
2 weeks ago, you're like, I'll trade Khalil Ware for him. Send Khalil's ass out of here. I want him gone.
What?
Yeah, you said
I would have fought you in the street over that.
You said that. And
oh
so
my goodness!
all
Now
of a
we
sudden,
just lying.
No,
Jennifer,
that's what you said. I'll pull up the tape.
Now we just lying.
That's what you said.
Don't wash your hands of it, Pontius Pilate.
No,
Get in here.
I'm not washing my hands.
Yes. Do you know who Pontius Pilate was?
You were basically Pontius Pilate when you went to Big Face Coffee the other day.
No,
you washed your hands of any heat loyalty.
We're not addressing this anymore.
You don't remember that Pontius Pilate washed his hands of the Jesus situation, and he didn't want no part of it. And when you just did this, that's where that comes from, but you don't even realize it. So, but Tobin,
what?
Stop doing this.
I'm not doing anything, dude. All I'm saying is it's a little hilarious to sit back here and this guy's gonna
wait. Who's the one player on the Heat team I said I wouldn't trade?
Man, I would hope Bam. I mean, I don't know.
No, I said Khalil.
Wow.
I said Khalil. Don't lie. I said Khalil. Don't lie. And now all of a sudden you're trying to tell these people said that I would give up Khalil in a heartbeat. I did not.
Pretty sure what I said was, well, you got to be a grown up and trade him to get Giannis. I'm like, well, and then you said, yep, I'll trade his ass. Pretty sure that's what you said.
Okay, great.
And then I think you went, trade the pigeon. That's what you said.
He did all of that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fine though. I mean, you know, good for him. Enjoy Milwaukee, dude. Freeze your ass off. Have fun. Never wanted him. Dude's a goalpost mover anyway. Oh, I didn't fail. It was a step to success. You failed.
But he has a chip.
Good for him. You know what? I hope he gets to sit back there like Gollum, polishing his precious, talking about the past. Ridiculous. Anyway, a man who's not ridiculous, Michael Cooper, a Hall of Famer, multiple-time champion, Giannis. He's going to talk about the big three. Big three's coming down to Kaseya Center. He's coaching Michael Beasley. He's already got to, mend some personalities because there's beef between Lance Stevenson and Michael Beasley. So we'll talk about that with the Hall of Famer, Michael Cooper. He joins us next. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. And very excited, in studio now, joining us here, the head coach of Miami 305, Michael Cooper, stopping by the show, Leroy. Very exciting as the Big Three gets going real soon. They're going to start their season this weekend, and the Miami 305 is practicing down at Leroy. They're gearing up for the season. And Coach Michael Cooper, kind enough to join us here. Thanks for the time, Mike. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Toby. Hey, Leroy, you know what? He really didn't know who I was when I walked in.
Really?
He thought I was another old man. Like
ridiculous.
No, sir.
Ridiculous claim.
Hey, it's crazy because we had a conversation before. Here's what the conversation was. I know when you were Showtime, y'all had accountability. Y'all had leaders on that team. Y'all had a Hall of Fame coach. All these things going, and now you coach Michael Beasley. Is from what you've been through, how do you deal with the younger basketball players of the day? Because it was different back then. You didn't have, coaches having to appease the players. You didn't have, coaches said you get in or you out. So how do you handle that?
Leroy, the best part for me is I have kids, so I understand kids. But no, I mean, you just have to treat these guys with respect, and I think as you give, you get. And with our team, Mario Chalmers, Reggie Evans, Sean Williams, picked up Lance in our draft, and Michael B., just give them the respect. And the one thing that we do is a give and take thing. We work things out together as a team, but it's fun. Mike is a little... The good thing about it is I don't have any hair, so he can't make me pull my hair out. So we just we work it out. We make it happen. And but you know what? He is a fantastic player.
He's so talented.
Oh my God, he is so good. And it's just amazing that he should be in the NBA. But you know what? He's not. He's in the Big Three of Miami 305, and we're glad to have him.
Was there any truth to there being a rift between him and Lance? Because they had the one-on-one matchup. Was that to help with their build-up? Are they good at the practices so far?
So, but they've been great. I mean, I got here one day late, but yesterday I got here and they seem like they're great. They understand what we're about. We're going to win a championship and we got to play together as a team. But I'm pretty sure there was a rift. I think that would be like if me and Larry Bird or me and Magic did a one-on-one and then we had to come play together. You just put all that aside and play.
With a duo like him and Chalmers too, like they've been together for so long, they know each other for so long. Like, how does that help with the chemistry of a team going into a season?
Oh, for sure, that works so well. And Mario's the starting point guard for us, and he knows and he understands that Mike is our go-to guy. So again, we run a lot of pick and roll. We'll throw it to Mike and let him go one-on-one because he is a matchup nightmare for anybody. And this week coming up in Chicago, starting June 14th, we get to see Dwight Howard and LA Riot, and he's just gonna do what he do, play basketball, and they work it out.
The competition level still very like as far as like the competitive juices for you guys still flows like very, very high for a league like this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you know why it's even high? Because you didn't know the end to run to, Leroy. They can't run down to the other end. Everything happens at one end of the floor. And yeah, the competition is very high. And it kind of goes through the coaches too. We got some marquee coaches, myself, Dr. J, George Gervin, Gary Payton, and when we see each other, and Nick Young, let's see him, and we kind of talked a little bit of sugar honey iced tea to each other, and we get it going that way.
Well, if you guys want to come watch the Big Three live and in person, it's going to be at the Kaseya Center June 29th. So they'll be at the Heat's house June 29th. Get your tickets now at kaseyacenter.com and come support your own Miami squad. Michael Cooper joining us here in studio. Just had your jersey retired. Pat Riley there, all the Showtime there. What was that moment like for you?
Almost tearful. I never expected that. The Hall of Fame came before that, and I kind of figured might a little chance of getting in there, but the criteria for the Lakers hanging your jersey up was kind of really strict, and you had to have been an all-star. And with Jeannie Buss, our owner, doing what her dad has always done, being very home-loving, family-like. So when they called and told me that they were going to do that, that was something. I'm getting emotional about it now because I think about it. But yeah, it was a great moment. A lot of my teammates were there. It was fun.
Is there something? Go ahead, Leroy.
So you can tell our age difference because my question's all about Showtime because I grew up watching that, and that was some of the most amazing basketball I've ever seen in my life. And one of the things that was amazing to me was you guys all seemed there was no knuckleheads. And so I would ask you, who on your team was the Dennis Rodman? The guy you needed to win, but you had to keep an eye on him.
We really didn't have that. As you
Right.
said, we didn't, you know, when you came on the Lakers and we went through training camp, we knew who was going to have that opportunity to make the team. And if you're a knucklehead, we were going to exclude you and you would get cut before we even got into the thick of things, because it's about team. Team means together, everyone achieves more. And so we really didn't have that. But there was, it probably would be me. I was a loose screw at times. But I understood my role as a sixth man, so I wasn't going to play out of that. But that was a great question. We really didn't have that. We were very fortunate.
Right.
And you know what? But a lot of that credit goes to Jerry West, the late Jerry West. Jerry had an innate ability, that eye to find that one player or that person that could come in and help us, a la Michael Thompson in '85. He saw him. And then in drafting and going after Kobe Bryant as a young player, knowing that he was going to be the type of player he became.
Right.
I mean, you play for Pat Riley. Would Pat Riley ever dare say that Bam Adebayo passed Michael Cooper defensively as far as best players he's had in his franchise? Because you're one of the best defenders of all time.
I already see the look.
Bam, I can see the look in your face. This is already offending you. Bam's obviously looked upon as one of the best ever doing in a Heat uniform. Would he ever broach that topic even with you?
Tobin, don't start nothing. Won't be nothing, man.
He said, "This is blasphemous."
Well, you know what? Bam is a different player than I was. He's big, and for I think for Coach Riley to compare us to is an honor to both of us. And because Pat's been around and seen a lot of great players, but Bam more of that 5'4", can play some 3, and he can get out and guard some 1s, but not for a long period of time. As well as me, I could play 1, 2, and 3, but I would have a hard time trying to guard Bam or Kareem or somebody like that. But you know what? The one big I used to love to guard, and I really didn't care if I was outmatched, was a guy named Bill Laimbeer.
Just because the dirtiness.
The dirtiness. I love beating him up. And Rick Mahorn. They came in a pair. Yeah. You know what? Oh, my God. See, Rick Mahorn was one of the coaches in our league, too. So, Leroy, you see that competitive juice is still flowing. Yeah. Big 3, that's when I get to work it out. You know, I can't get on the court, but I can still have that passion and love for the game.
But see, Mike, I was at Michigan when the Detroit Pistons were going, you know, with Dumars and all.
I don't care. Bad boys, you know what? We beat them in '87. We spanked them. No, '88. We spanked them. They weren't the bad boys to us. We called them bad kids, and I tell that to their face too. Isaiah, Rick. Okay, I'll calm down. Hey, you know what? Jay Figs. I just made her laugh. Keep going. Jay Figs is like a cool street baller's name. Jay Figs over there.
So, Mike, let me ask you.
All right, go make you jump over there.
So you played basketball on a team that was a different level. Y'all didn't have to work through a lot of stuff because everybody was on the same page. Do you find that NBA basketball now, there's too many moving parts to get to that level? Like everybody has almost their own agenda, and you have to incorporate that into the team atmosphere more now than you did before?
Well, you know what? And I don't mean anything wrong when I say this. It was kind of bad to watch the NBA basketball like 5 years ago, but I stuck through it, and they've come around a lot. But what you're talking about is why you see OKC and Indiana as championship playing for a championship, because it's about the team. And I think the NBA has been, there's so much money going around. There's really no loyalty because these guys are jumping from team to team to team or chasing the money. And that gets lost. Winning a championship gets lost because it's about the gratification of me at the moment. But that's why I love watching the NBA the last 2 years, especially this year, because you got two young teams. It's not about the superstars. And they SGA and Halliburton are stars, but they're not superstars. They're going into superstars, but they're playing as a team, and that's why it's enjoyable to watch for me. And that's what the Big Three is about. Miami 305, you know what? We were knocking on the door. Leroy, do you know anything about us from last year? We were knocking at the door, and we ended up losing to Gary Payton and that fake team he had back there. About this year, Miami 305, and we're going for it this year. And it starts out this Saturday coming up against Chicago. In Chicago, we're playing the LA Riot, and it's going to be a riot.
Important to you to get off to a fast start this season? Like you feel like the elements are there for you guys to have that chemistry right off the bat?
Oh, for sure. With condensed the teams, we were 12 teams last year. We're back down to 8. So it's important. You can't go 0-2, 0-3, because virtually you'll be out of the playoffs by then. So, Tobin, it's going to be important, very important for us to start off with a bang.
How much confidence is Mario Chalmers still walking around with? He was known as the most confident Heat player.
Why are you laughing, Leroy?
Even on a team with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, nobody had the confidence of Mario Chalmers.
Mike, you know the guys that they came into the locker room and they had all the confidence in the world, and everybody else like Magic and Kareem and all of them would give them a little side eye and just kind of smile.
You're talking about me, man.
Oh, you can't. You said it with your chest.
And I, Rio, get together. We love each other because we're walking around. But no, we still got a lot of. I'm 69 years old. I still believe I can get out there and stop LeBron James. Now, LeBron James would run over me like a freight train or something like that. But you know what? Show me. That's what it got to. Right, Jay Figgs? You got to show us what's going on.
Is there any surprise from you that Pat Riley's still doing it? 80 years old he turned this year. Still has that fire to run an organization. He said that 80 is the new 60. He has no illusions of retiring anytime soon. Does this surprise you at all as a guy who's been around for so long?
No, it's because that's who Coach Riley is. He's always been a fighter. And if you kind of look at our careers, Coach Riley and I were like the same player when he was with the Lakers. In the 70s, it won that championship team. So it doesn't surprise me. He keeps going. And you know what? In reality, Tobin, this kind of keeps us young, being around the young players, staying in the game. And those are some of the things you miss when you retire, that camaraderie, the preparation, those kind of things in the locker room, the bus ride. That's what makes it fun.
Hey, Spo went from 40 to 65 coaching Michael Beasley. So good luck.
Listen, these almost took me to a championship. Leroy, you know what? Had we won last year, which was what we're going to do this year, Miami 305 going to win it this year, I will have covered the gauntlet of NBA championships. I won a NBA championship. I won a WNBA championship. I won a championship in the D League, which is now the G League. Right. Anything has to do with NBA players, I've won. And so I'm knocking on the door for this one.
There you go. Get it.
Chicago. 305 Miami. You gonna be there, Tobin?
In Chicago? No, but I'm gonna come to the Miami show.
Why won't you travel with us?
What do you mean, dude? Like, I'm not gonna get on the bus to go to Chicago this weekend.
Do this bus?
I could do it. No, that's fair.
They fly. They only got like 12 guys, 12 people. It ain't the whole team.
But we talk about Beasley's talent. Like I watched that one-on-one this week, and like he has the appreciation even still from like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, just what he can do on a basketball court. Like, what do you think is underappreciated from Michael Beasley as a player?
It's his true talent, how really, really good he is. I don't think a lot of people see that. And again, and I'm just beating Mike the last 3 or 4 years being around him, so I understand a little bit more. But just how amazing of a player he is, how easy he makes the game. You know, this guy's hands are so big. I didn't realize that. Michael Beasley has some big paws on him, which allowed him to do things with the ball that other players can't.
Well, good luck against Dwight Howard this week, Michael Cooper. Thanks so much for stopping by.
I'm not playing against Dwight Howard.
No, I understand, but you're game playing against him.
He acts like I'm playing, man. I'm not about to get out there, but okay, our team will do well. Thank you, Tobin.
I appreciate you. Go check out the Big Three Miami 305s coming to the Kaseya Center on June 29th. Get your tickets now at KaseyaCenter.com. Michael Cooper, thanks for the time. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, right.
We're going to give y'all a lot of eargasm out there because you know what? They have to have it to get to the game when we come here to Miami.
We're all about it. We'll support you all the way, man.
You sure, Tobin?
Absolutely. If it's a Miami team, I got you all the way.
Yeah.
Jay Figgs, you'll come.
I'm in.
I expect to see you there, Leroy. 2 ball people have to come together, man. We're going to be there.
I wanted here, but it wasn't in my cards.
What do you think about his blue goatee, by the way?
Huh?
What do you think about Leroy's got a little blue there on the goatee? What do you think of that?
What? You tripping? Leroy, stop it. Come on back down to earth, man, and stay with that gray. What's the blue for?
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for that.
He got basically pranked by his wife. His wife hair just kind of did a drive-by on the dye, and he turned it into a Smurf beard. I don't know what's going on.
I love that. You know what? During COVID, my wife did mine all yellow. My beard, I grew a beard then. She dyed it yellow, Laker colors.
Yeah, but you could stay at home. It was COVID. I got to go out in these streets with this.
Well, you don't have to. You can cut it now.
No, but see, it's coming. Look, the gray's coming in. So I figure that I got about another week or so, and then my gray will be back, where if I cut it off, I got to wait longer.
Leroy, stop playing with yourself. You look crazy with a blue beard. Thank you guys for having me, Tobin. Thanks for coming in, Mike.
We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. Back after this.
305.